is where MAGA comes to talk, and we've got so much to cover. It is falling apart for Kamala Harris.
Now through September 1st. Visit our incredible paddock restaurant with over 140 new HD TVs, big screens, exceptional dining.
12 seconds away.
Check out the upcoming dinner shows, including Rat Pack Now, August 23rd, the Pure Zeppelin Experience, October 11th, Let It Be, November 8th, and more. For more information, .com.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
It sure is Monday morning, July the 29th, 99 days until Donald Trump is reelected. Oh man, this is amazing. Things are going very poorly for Kamala Harris. And the reason they're going so poorly for her are many. She's being shown for what she is, an out-of-control liberal communist nutbag. But there's also some other truths coming out about her, and a lot of things are going to be covered on today's program. Welcome. If you're new, we do take calls on this program, and all the calls are screenless. Our call-in number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. You know, I found out something new about Kamala Harris yesterday that I did not know, and it's about her and her husband and where they get their money from. And I got a question. Listen to this. This is in the National Pulse. I tweeted this story. It's on my Twitter, Brian Craig Show on X. Kamala Harris's husband's firm represents Chinese Communist Party-owned corporations and employs ex-CCP officials. Now, I'll go through the details of this story in a moment, but what is it with Democrats that all of them are on the take from China? Have you noticed that? It's almost like the CCP have paid off all our politicians. This is nuts. You seen this in the mainstream media? Probably not. Here's the story. Kamala, and are you guys comfortable with this? I know I'm not. Kamala Harris's husband's firm, this is her husband's company, DLA Piper, consults on behalf of a bevy of Chinese Communist Party-owned companies. What is all this consults? Does that sound like a real thing? Sounds like her husband has a company that works a lot like the Clinton Foundation. Consults. Sounds like a money laundering operation from the CCP. I don't know. Kamala Harris's husband's company, DLA Piper, consults on behalf of a bevy of Chinese Communist Party-owned companies and employs former Chinese Communist Party officials. Wow. So we've got CCP working for him too? Is this company an American company or a Chinese company? You know, they say here, former Chinese Communist Party officials. Is there any such thing as that? Once you're CCP, are you not always CCP? Kamala Harris's husband's company, DLA Piper, is a multinational law firm with over 30 years of experience in China and over 140 lawyers dedicated to its China Investment Services branch. Oh, China Investment Services branch. Is that kind of like when they gave that diamond to Hunter? No more diamonds, Hunter. Kamala Harris's links to the company are found with her husband, Douglas Emhoff. And I must tell you guys, beware of women whose last name is different than that of their husband. Kamala Harris's links to the Chinese company, Chinese connected company, are found with her husband, Douglas Emhoff, who has served as a partner in the firm's intellectual property and technology practice and its media, sport, and entertainment sector since 2017. So he's a part. Her husband, Kamala Harris's husband, is a partner in a CCP company? Don't you think this should be on television? Should I be the one breaking this news to you? I'm glad to break news. All of us in media want to break news, but some things I shouldn't be breaking this. DLA Piper boasts of having long established and embedded China desks. Remember when G.W. Bush was running? And that guy from the NRA said, we're going to have a desk next to the Oval Office. People went, no, a desk next to... They got CCP desks. Kamala Harris's husband has CCP desks, plural. Kamala Harris's husband's company, DLA Piper, boasts of having long established and embedded China desks in both the United States and Europe to assist their China-focused consulting. This prompts questions about how the firm's potential proximity to the White House could be leveraged and exploited by the Chinese Communist Party. Well, maybe they exploited, maybe they already own them. Exploited by the Chinese Communist Party or represent a financial conflict of interest for Kamala Harris. This is insane. To facilitate DLA Piper's China practice, which has received countless prestigious awards from the China Business Law Journal and China Law and Practice, Kamala Harris's husband's company employs a host of former Chinese Communist Party officials. Ernest Yang, who serves as the firm's head of litigation and regulatory department and co-head of international arbitration, was appointed to the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference in 2013. This is a top guy in the CCP. It serves as a top advisory board for the Chinese Communist Party, and Yang was promoted to the body's standing committee in 2019. Jessica Zhao, a senior advisor at Kamala Harris's husband's company, served as the Deputy Secretary General of the China International Economic and Trade Arbitration Commission, a government-owned body established by the Chinese Communist Party in 1956. It was developed under the China Council for the Promotion of International Trade, which is a governmental body for the furtherance of Chinese trade promotion. Which side are you on, Kamala Harris? Looks like your millions come from China. And not just China generically, the Chinese Communist Party and their commie government. This is nuts. Other high-level employees, such as Gloria Liu, serves as a partner in Kamala Harris's husband's company. She's represented lead investors in deals in the parent company of TikTok. TikTok is Chinese spyware. The hires serve to bolster DLA Piper's China operation, which it outlines as necessitating and liaisoning with the central and local authorities in China. My goodness. Could you imagine if Donald Trump in one of his resorts just had some maids and bartenders who used to be with the CCP, what they would do with that? I know what they would do with it. It would be 24/7 coverage. That's what they would do with it. DLA Piper, again, this is the name of Kamala Harris's husband's company, DLA Piper, has engaged in a bevy of business deals that have left them on the payroll of the Chinese Communist Party. Now I think I'm getting the idea of how Kamala became Joe's pick now. We all thought Barack Obama told her or told Biden to pick her. Now it looks like China that owns Joe. China told Joe to pick Kamala as his running mate. Kamala Harris's husband's company has listed itself as an advisor to two Chinese government-owned airlines, China Eastern Airlines and China Southern Airlines. They've also advised the China Merchants Group, a Chinese Communist Party-owned company, which is under the direct supervision of the Chinese Communist Party. They've also advised investment stock corporations owned by the Chinese government. This list goes on. Oh my goodness. I mean, what the heck? Now, does it sound to you like China told Joe to make Kamala the running mate? My goodness. You know, what's scary to me about this stuff is that the mainstream media don't report on it. When there's things like this they're not reporting on, that tells me there's something to it. Now, this is just the first of many stories that I'm going to cover on today's program. Things about Kamala, she's worse than I thought on so many levels. So we're going to take our first break of the week almost on time because I have so much to cover. My name is Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. It's crazy. Nuts.
Are you feeling safe and secure in your home? Unfortunately, millions of Americans are vulnerable.
I mean, what the heck?
Every year. But what if you can have peace of mind knowing that your home is protected 24/7? At Sloman's, we understand the importance of home security. That's why we're offering a free home security system with free professional installation. When you use our low-cost central station monitoring, our top-of-the-line systems are designed to detect intruders and alert authorities and give you real-time updates right to your smartphone. And with our state-of-the-art monitoring center, you'll have 24/7 protection from any threat. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your home and family and your valuables with Sloman's comprehensive home security solutions. Call 1-833-283-5050 today to schedule your free installation and start sleeping better tonight. Sloman's, protecting what matters most. Call 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050 now. At Sloman's, we understand the importance of home security.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you do and you don't even
Oh, man. I tell you.
burning or tingling in your hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching. Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet?
Welcome, everyone. If you're new, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk.
At the Lighthouse Medical Center, call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642.
Have you been to Chowderheads at Jupiter yet? If you're looking for the best seafood in town, you have to try Chowderheads. You'll love their authentic New England seafood, homemade fresh from Boston. Their award-winning lobster rolls, clam chowder, and fried oysters are absolutely delicious. Come taste it for yourself. You will want to keep coming back for more at Chowderheads, located in the Driftwood Plaza on Southwest Highway 1 in Jupiter. Now open 7 days a week. For reservations or to go, call 561-203-2903 or check out the menu at chowderheadsusa.com.
And now, a message from Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com.
This is Scott. MyKilowatts.com. I'm back. Dog days of summer are upon us. Your AC is struggling, running constantly, trying to hold the temperature, maybe even failing later.
We'll be back shortly, guys.
The bill has gone up, even double. Radiant barrier is the cure. Stop the heat gain, lowering the temperatures in the attic up to 40 degrees, cutting the FPL bills up to 40%. Dog days of summer sales, 50% on radiant barrier and insulation removal, rat proofing. We even do AC ducts in the heat of the summer. Act now and get $500 off radiant barrier over 2,000 square feet and $1,000 off over 4,000 square feet, plus a 30% federal tax credit. So call now, 954-939-1500 to save big. Call 954-939-1500 and talk to the owner, Scott. That's That's 954-939-1500 or cutmykilowatts.com. Estimates given on the phone, work done in days, not weeks, easier than ordering a pizza.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive?
Back right after this. 25 seconds.
Friendly Tire in Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. It's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world through all these.
All right, coming up on 18 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Welcome. So we find out that Kamala Harris's husband's company, that they've made millions of dollars off of China, that they actually employ Chinese Communist Party officials. They got all these deals with huge government-owned companies in China. I've heard a lot of people say that Kamala Harris's father is a communist, right? And that's true. What about the mother? Her mother is from India. That's Asia. Is Kamala Harris, and this is a serious question. I don't like things that are like talking points or clickbaity. I mean this when I ask you this question. Do we have another Manchurian candidate with Kamala Harris? Oh, you can't say that. You're right. You criticize her. You're a racist. Well, screw that. We're going to tell the truth about her. I don't care what they call me. If you earn millions of dollars from China, if you are employing members of the Chinese Communist Party, high-ranking members, by the way, how can you go against China? Has she ever taken a position against China? I'll tell you, one of her big things is climate change. Let me play this clip. I wasn't going to do this, but I am going to do it. It's in the news. This is Kamala Harris talking about climate change anxiety. Oh, let me cue it up here. Hold on. First clip of the day is always rough. Here we go.
I've heard young leaders talk with me about a term they've coined called climate anxiety. Right? Which is fear of the future and the unknown, of whether it makes sense for you to even think about having children, whether it makes...
Okay. Whether it makes sense for you to even have children because of climate change. Okay. A few things to say about this. I know this has been in the news, but, the whole climate change thing used to be global warming, then the weather didn't agree, so they rebranded, they changed the name to climate change. You know what? I think most of you know that listen to this program what climate change is all about. Where does it come from? It's a racket from China. China's a big country, right? And they have a lot of land. They've got a lot of resources. But there's one thing that China does not have, and that's oil. Now, what they do have is a lot of lithium, which is a necessary component for the batteries for electric cars, all right? In fact, Joe Biden gave the Chinese the largest lithium deposits in the world when he handed Afghanistan over to China. So the fact that she and many other Democrats are so obsessed with climate change is just a thing that China is promoting. They want everyone off oil and onto electric crap because they make it all and they don't have oil, right? We have more oil than OPEC nations, the United States. Under Donald Trump, we were the largest producer of oil in the world. That's why I paid $1.57 a gallon for gas on Trump's last day in office, on Biden and Kamala's inauguration day. The average around the country was, what, $1.83, and that includes like California with high gas prices factored in. $1.57 here in South Florida. on that day. But China, they want everyone off oil and on to electric because they have no oil and they have all the electric stuff. That's a reality, and I think most people that are MAGA are aware of that. But MAGA people don't assume because you know all these things that others that don't follow politics don't. Every 4 years we have our presidential election. We're 99 days away now, right? People are beginning, it'll be more so in a couple weeks, but people who don't follow politics at all, don't even follow the news, are starting to now. And as we get closer to the election, more and more of them will be doing that. So these things that you take for granted, that you may have known for years and years, most people don't. So it's very important for you to share all these things with your friends, including this program. Okay? So they can learn about all these things. Now, Elon Musk made a very, very smart comment. Hey, listen, Elon Musk is the richest African American. I mean, he's a genius. He sends rockets into space. And he had a comment on this.
Term they've coined called climate anxiety, right? Which is fear of the future and the unknown, of whether it makes sense for you to even think about having children.
Oh, wow. So she says that people are thinking they shouldn't even have children. It doesn't make sense because the earth won't be able to support life. It's going to be like the road warrior, climate change. And Elon Musk, he posted on X, he calls her Kamala. He said, Kamala's an extinctionist. The natural extinction, it's early, guys. This is what Elon Musk wrote on X. The natural extinction of her, it's early. I'm behind on my coffee. The natural extension of her philosophy would be a de facto Holocaust for all of humanity and eventual extinction, because if you're not going to have kids, the species doesn't continue. The biggest tool that the Chinese use to spread all their propaganda is TikTok. All right? And Kamala Harris's husband's company work with TikTok, make boatloads of money, millions of dollars off TikTok, where they spread this nonsense, that don't have babies nonsense, the 87 genders nonsense, and everything else that you can imagine. She's compromised beyond imagination. In fact, she's far worse than I ever thought. Far worse than Joe Biden. Her husband, I didn't realize he was so connected with the Chinese. He seems like some very effeminate guy in the background who just hangs around and looks goofy. When in fact, it's quite possible, and I don't think this is a stretch, Kamala and her husband have been married for about, 10 years? They married in 2014. It's very possible that Kamala's husband is her Chinese handler when you go through these stories, isn't it? Absolutely it is. Now, after the bottom of the hour, I got a lot to share. I've got the latest polls, which I'm going to go through. We're going to go through a lot of things. But I want to hear your thoughts on what I brought up so far. Is it possible her husband is her CCP handler? He's made millions upon millions of dollars from the CCP. His company is with some of the most connected Chinese Communist Party companies. Her husband employs officials with the CCP. I know he's a white guy, but that doesn't mean he's not her handler. The Chinese are waging the most brilliant strategy of conquering countries. Not with armies, not with tanks, not with the Luftwaffe or anything else. They just buy off politicians. Now, I want to tell you guys about the great specials going on right now at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane. There's a huge special going on for a limited time on the premium MyPillow that started it all, just $19.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout. That patented fill that Mike Lindell invented that's inside the pillow, what that does It adjusts to your exact individual needs regardless of your sleep position. It keeps your neck and your head aligned so you don't toss and turn at night. That's why you get such a great sleep on the My Pillows. You're not tossing and turning. When you toss and turn, even though you may not remember it, you've jarred yourself out of REM sleep. It's like having sleep apnea. Just $19.98 with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. The MyPillow bath towel sets and kitchen towels, which are new, the kitchen towels, just $25. They're both 6-piece sets with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. The MyPillow sheets, which come in every mattress size. I sleep on these. They're just amazing. They keep you the perfect temperature all year long, winter and summer. You know, it feels like 100 degrees with the heat index here in South Florida. When I get into bed at night, I am so cool, comfortable. I'm like Goldilocks with my MyPillow sheets. The MyPillow sheets, just $25. They're absolutely amazing with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. You can also use our promo code KANE on all the specials at MyPillow.com, not just the ones I highlight. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Also, don't forget the brand new MyPillow mattress topper as low as $69.98. Wow. With our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com, or by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. We'll be right back.
The Steve Kane Show with Clay and Craig. All Year Cooling Weather Center, South Florida's #1 choice for
Mike, if you send that to me,
installation. Here's your
I'll
forecast.
fix it for you. Mike, if you send that to me, I'll do it for you for the next one. Yeah. No, you don't want to miss this.
Free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Perfect.
This traffic update is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your car, home, motorcycle, commercial auto, and more. All of your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. That's traffic. I'm Dory Don.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the poker room at PBKC, open daily for cash games, high hands, mega bad beat jackpots, and exciting tournaments like the $100,000 guaranteed Monster Multi-Flight Tournament, August 8th through 11th. Visit our newly expanded table game area with Ultimate Texas Hold'em and 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum. PBKC is your entertainment destination. Go to pbkennelclub.com.
All right, where am I? If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys.
Did you know that trust is the consumer's #1 concern when it comes to picking just the right AC dealer? You can always trust in CMI Air Conditioning and Electrical to always put you first when it comes to installing and repairing your air conditioner. And trust in CMI to only install top quality equipment like the Train XB20i air conditioner. You know what they say, it's hard to stop a train. AC problem? Call CMI Air Conditioning and Electrical, 561-844-1004, CMIAC.com.
Attention seniors, are you not happy with your current Medicare plan? If not, give Debbie at I Will Advisors a call. 954-753-8888.
Okay.
753-8080. There are 5-star rated plans that you can enroll in the middle of the year. That's right. You don't have to wait for open enrollment. Debbie and her family have been taking care of Steve Kane Show listeners since 1993. Debbie even handles Steve Kane's Medicare. So if you're not happy with your current Medicare plan, give Debbie a call right now and go over the options. 954-753-8080. Debbie can help you no matter where you're located in the state of Florida. 954-753-8080. And online, iwilladvisors.com.
The Greater South Florida Chamber of Commerce
For us here Monday.
Wednesday, July 31st at Discovery Village at Stewart. Dozens of vendors will be
See you for us here Monday.
fun, food, and giveaways. The True Oldies channel will be on site from 11 to 1 with your chance to win a free cruise aboard Margaritaville at Sea. We'll see you Wednesday, July 31st at the Greater South Florida Chamber of Commerce Senior Lifestyle XON Health Fair at Discovery Village at Stewart, 2625 Southeast Cove Road in Stewart. Learn more at GreaterSouthFloridaChamber.com.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a midday crash on a daily basis? Women, are menopause symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, and depression making your daily life feel far more difficult than it should? Men, do you feel like you're aging far beyond
There you
what
go.
should? Is your sexual life and relationship suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom? Then take action and let our medical team at Lighthouse Medical Center help you stop the symptoms that are holding you back. We use all natural hormone optimization therapies with precision technology to help solve your problematic symptoms. Our family-owned practice has had the honor of serving our South Florida community for over 71 years. Call us right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. 754-222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of
We'll be
Coral
back
Springs.
in
The
30
prices are
seconds.
The lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed. And you're
Welcome.
in and out
If you're new,
in
make sure you
15 minutes
subscribe. And
or less.
everyone who's already subscribed, please like the video, guys. That helps a lot. Like the video.
Take control of your health care and visit Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. There's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the
Here we go.
radio.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years on the air.
All right, coming up on 35 minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning. Oh, my goodness. Monday morning, July 29th, 2024. My name is Brian Craig, and you are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Okay, so Kamala Harris. You know, if you guys follow me on YouTube, which you all should, Brian Craig Show on YouTube, I do live streams and shows all the time. In fact, I was doing a show at about 2:30 this morning, 3 o'clock, I can't remember what time, but it was early. And, of course, throughout the entire weekend and every day, and I upload my podcast on my YouTube channel, so you guys should all follow me there. But one thing I was talking a lot about was whether or not, in her heart and mind, is Kamala Harris an American. And I knew that when her parents divorced, her mother took her to Canada, and she finished her schooling all the way up through her first year of college in Canada. But I didn't know too much more than that because Kamala Harris has kept her Canadian life a secret. So I started looking into it. And I think it's very important. In fact, I even went so far as to looking up some of the news out of Canada. They're so excited about Kamala in Canada. I bet. Here she is on the take for China. She's got these Canadian connections. What part of her represents us? Right? She's in with China. She's in with Canada. She's transporting Latin America to the United States. What is she doing or stand for that is for the United States? Does anyone know? But here's what I found out, and it's pretty bad. Not that anything about Kamala is good. Have you heard anything good about Kamala? If you have, you're welcome to share it with me. I don't want to seem biased. Kamala Harris, her mother took her to Montreal when she was 12, and she started school at 12 years old in Canada and finished all of her schooling from that point forward until her first year of college. After her first year of college, she came back to the United States, went to Howard University. 12 years old is what, 6th grade? And what I found that was shocking to me is that her mother enrolled her in a French-speaking school. Well, what's that about? She enrolled her in a French-speaking school, which means Kamala speaks fluent French, which she's hid from us. And she must have been speaking some French if her mother enrolled her in a French-speaking school. And I know a lot of people think Canadians are like Americans. That is not true at all. Not true at all. Especially French Canadians, which is what she grew up around. French Canadian. She was raised in Canada from the age of 12 until her first year of college as a French Canadian. And when you're 12 years old, from 6th grade through high school, I was talking about this a lot on the weekend, on my weekend shows on YouTube. This is very important. And think about, and let me illustrate, I'll illustrate this using a couple of ways, okay? But from the time you're 12 until you're 18 are some of the most important years of your life, maybe the most important years of your life when it comes to development mentally. This is when your personality is formed and your worldview is formed. This is when you're educated into the culture that you live in. This is when you learn the history and culture of your country and the systems and way of life and how people in your country think. She missed all of that. And I know a lot of people say 12 to 18. Think about this. I'll give you 2 examples, maybe 3, maybe 4, but I'll start with just 2 that illustrate what I'm talking about. What's your favorite music? Your favorite songs? Okay? How old were you when you were listening to that music? Probably high school. Most people, their favorite music is the music they listened to in high school. You know, Netflix, they have that new Beverly Hills Cop movie, Axel F. It's not that bad. The beginning of it's very good. The middle of it, I don't know what's going on, but it was okay. But I don't care. I knew I was going to see it because I was 13 when I saw Beverly Hills Cop in the theater in 1984, and I was excited to see it. What are your favorite movies of all time? And when did you start watching those movies? Probably when you were in high school or middle school, right? And I gave another example of this, and think about it with your music. Music's the best. I mean, my wife and I are the same age. We're a year apart, you know, and we love the same music, mostly 80s, because that's when we were in high school. That doesn't mean you don't like other music and from other times before and after, but those are the times when your entire personality, your mindset is formed. You know, I'll give you another example of this is Lorne Michaels, that liberal jerk that runs Saturday Night Live. I saw an interview with him a couple years ago, and the person interviewing him, I can't remember who it was, but they said, you know, my favorite cast of Saturday Night Live was whichever one it was. And he asked, and Lorne Michaels said, when did you graduate high school? And he says, oh, that was the cast when you were in high school. And the guy said, yeah. And Lorne Michaels says, whenever people tell him what their favorite cast is of Saturday Night Live, almost every single time it was the cast that was on the show when they were in high school or middle school. You know, so 12 to 18, 6th grade to the first year of college are some of the most important years of a person's life. And she was living it as a French Canadian. And since she lived those very important years in Canada, Kamala Harris does not understand American culture, American history, American government, our way of life, and she doesn't think like us. And I'll tell you, here in Florida, this is a tourist state. Okay? Big tourist state, Florida. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll get to the phones in a bit after the next break. Okay? And we get tourists from everywhere in America and everywhere in the world. What group of tourists do Floridians hate the most? Here's a hint. It's not New Yorkers. Most people would think New Yorkers. That's not the case. Do you know what group of people, of tourists, that Floridians, native Floridians, just can't stand, don't want anything to do with? Kamala Harris's people, the French Canadians. Hollywood Beach has gone through in the last few years a big renovation. They got that Jimmy Buffett hotel down there and stuff, okay? But I don't know if it's still this way, but way back when, before it was all fixed up, that's where all the French Canadians went. Oh my goodness. Floridians hated it. They wouldn't go anywhere near that place because French Canadians, just nasty people, that very difficult to get along with. They're really, in a way, it sounds weird, but they're racist because they think like they're a race of people, French Canadians. And when Kamala was growing up as a French Canadian, starting at 12 years old, going to a French language school in the late 70s through the early mid-80s, that was one of the most politically charged times in Quebec. There was a big movement inside Quebec with the French Canadians to leave Canada and form their own nation. That separatist movement was at its height during that period, very politically charged. I don't know if that has anything to do with their mother moving there or not. I don't know. But I know this, that if you lived from 12 years old to your first year of college in a French-speaking world in another country, going to a French language school, being raised by an Indian from India, what do you know about the American way of life? That's why she's so obsessed with others, whether it's China, South America, or whoever else. Because she doesn't feel like an American. Because she wasn't raised as an American. She's a first-generation American legally. She was born in California. But her parents did not raise her as an American girl. She was raised as an Indian French-Canadian. And I know a lot of you will say, that is so petty, Brian. And I don't think it is. Do you want a president of the United States who's not one of us? And what I mean by one of us, I mean an American in their heart and mind. We tried that once with Barack Obama, and look how we're suffering from that still today. 16 years after Barack Obama was elected. Now, you may have seen we're in a path for a storm, right? It's hurricane season, and we are in the cone of concern. Most of Florida is in the cone of concern. I was watching it yesterday. I didn't check the latest track on that storm, but you always want to be prepared. If you have a leak in your roof, oh man, you want to get that taken care of before a hurricane comes. If you got a wet spot on your ceiling, you got a leak in your roof. And if you've got a leak in your roof, that's what the hurricane winds are looking for. And even if we don't get a hurricane, but get a tropical storm, there are still hurricane strength wind gusts in that. And what the hurricane winds are looking for, and tropical storm force winds, they're looking for an entryway into your home. And that loose shingle, that loose tile, well, that could be the entryway that takes your roof and takes it to Kansas, okay? If you have a wet spot on your ceiling, call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and get that taken care of, all right? You can find him online at LaportaRoofing.com, LaportaRoofing.com, or you can call or text him directly on his cell phone. He's a good MAGA guy. He will never sell you a roof you do not need. He works with every type of roofing material there is, and he works on every type of structure. condos and HOAs, apartment buildings, municipal buildings, schools, churches, warehouses, single-family homes. Call or text Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing on his cell phone right now, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing will never sell you a roof you do not need. If you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. 954-604-4602 and online, LaportaRoofing.com. Call us on hold, stand by. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Absolutely wild, but funny.
Yeah.
My parents, since Hurricane Dorian, before Hurricane Dorian, like that year Hurricane Dorian hit, every single time they went on vacation, including a cruise, a hurricane has, right after they leave, like the day after, a hurricane comes into the ocean.
Oh my gosh.
It's since Dorian.
Oh my gosh.
I was home alone when Dorian was like creeping right up.
Which
to
one
us.
was that? I forgot.
That was the one that stood in the Bahamas for like a
Oh,
few
yeah,
days, and then it was about to hit
Yeah,
us,
that
and
was
it
a,
just went up.
yeah, I remember that one.
I just remember I think my parents went to Italy, and literally like the day they got there, Hurricane Dorian was forming the ocean, was heading towards us.
Yeah.
I called my parents. I'm like, "Sir, hurricane's coming." They're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because we didn't put shutters up, right? Because the hurricane wasn't there yet."
Yeah,
So-
well, you got to put them up every time they leave town now.
Yeah, so they left.
Yeah.
A few days ago, and
Oh, and now we got. Did you see the cone?
I can see every time.
Yeah.
My parents are literally like if a hurricane comes, I'm like, I'll hold the door shut.
They're like that groundhog.
No, at this point, it really is.
Yeah.
I just texted them. I said, you guys aren't gonna believe
Let me find the
this.
cone.
I can't believe it.
Oh, they don't have the latest up yet.
I can't believe it's every time. It's every time. It's clockwork. It's insane.
Yeah, I got to get the app.
Oh my gosh. Time to learn how to do.
Yeah.
Shutters.
Exactly.
You know, when Dorian hit, I had to have my brother come from Boca to help me put everything up.
Oh, I can get mine up in about 45 minutes.
We have,
I've gotten pretty quick at it.
well, the upstairs, my room, my parents, my
Oh, I have a one-story house, so it makes it easier.
too, yeah. I think the bottom is what we have to worry about. We have window-proof windows, hurricane windows. But
I've got the hurricane windows, but I put the shutters on over them so they don't get cracked. If something hits them, they don't break, they crack.
well, we have those metal, not metal, but like, well, it might be metal. Like, it's not, it's just right up, like in front of the window, but like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's how they put it last too hard. Big things in the house. But this should be fun.
Oh, I hope we don't get it. I mean, I don't want it.
We haven't had one hit us when that happens.
Yeah.
Thank God, but, yeah.
Hey, my true oldies listeners, John Tesh here with some intelligence for your retirement this time. When you're looking for a retirement advisor, you know trust and experience are two big qualities to look for. And as
All right, coming back in
Joe Thomas,
25 seconds.
whether you're in retirement or looking to retire, I want you to give
Wow.
the expert Joe Thomas a call. Here's the number, 561-743-0999. Or, even simpler, you can go to JupiterJoe.com. Mention my name, John Tesh. You'll receive a free copy of Joe's book, Retirement Know-It-All. Great book. Call 561-743-0999. Or remember, go to JupiterJoe.com. That's JupiterJoe.com.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on air.
All right, coming up on 9 minutes after the hour. You know, I was talking with Mike, our board up during the break, and, you know, we're in this cone for this storm, and we were talking about hurricane shutters. I have hurricane windows. I still put shutters up over them, except my back door is a French door, and it's got hurricane glass in it, because you want to see out. And the reason I put shutters up over the hurricane windows, hurricane windows are very expensive. If something hits the hurricane glass, it doesn't break, it shatters. You have to have it replaced. And they're so expensive that I got shutters to put over the hurricane glass. I know it seems crazy, doesn't it? But hey, you know, I didn't do that. And then at our old studio in Coral Springs, the building was paper thin, but they had hurricane windows. And I remember some of them got cracked. during a storm. Oh my goodness, it was expensive to replace those. So I get the shutters over the hurricane glass. All right, we're going to go to the phones talking about some just disturbing things about Kamala Harris with her Chinese ties with her and her husband. Is her husband her Chinese handler? This company is very, very sketch. And these other things I've talked about with it. Let's take some of these calls before we bring up anything new. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Roz. How you doing?
All right, Roz. What's up?
Couple things. I think she's evil. Number two, she arrested a lot of people for smoking marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Went on a radio station laughing and saying she smoked marijuana.
Yeah. She was talking to Charlemagne de God. Yeah. That's insane. So she puts people in jail for doing what she does.
Right. She's a hypocrite, and not only that, but I told my daughter, I said, this woman has got a brain like a box of rocks. I could do her job better than her. Did you hear her little speech about the yellow school bus?
Yes, she started singing that Wheels on the Bus song, Go Round and Round.
Laughing. That's all she does.
I think it's very possible she still uses marijuana, like in the gummy form or something. Because that goofy, like that Wheels on the Bus thing, that she seemed like she was high to me when she did that. That was so bizarre.
Well, to me, she's always laughing for no reason. Why would you be laughing?
Because you're high on marijuana. It could be a possibility. This thing I was talking about her growing up in Quebec, in Montreal, from 12 through her first year of college. I mean, what has she learned about our history, our government, and our culture? Her mother, who raised her, is an Indian woman who moved to Canada. So she was not Americanized at all. She's really foreign in her heart and mind.
Yeah. And I could see her being in with China and taking bribes.
Well, we know her husband's company has these huge multi-million-dollar arrangements with China. They employ people from the Chinese Communist Party. That's how they do it. They make them rich through these companies. It's a consulting company. What does that even mean? Is that even a real thing? Consulting. You consult and then you vote on. Then your wife votes on some bill in the Senate in favor of you. Maybe that's how it works. Yeah,
but like I said to you before, I think Jill Biden is having an affair with her husband.
I don't know why you would think that.
You don't remember that kiss in front of all of Congress? Where
I think you mentioned this to me once before, and I was going to go look at that, and I forgot. No, I have not seen that.
Oh yeah, she kissed him on the lips, and a passionate kiss.
Really?
Yeah. Now that Joe isn't running, he's no use to her anymore.
Well, Jill Biden was married to another man when she started having sex with Joe, so being married and things mean nothing to her.
It doesn't, and I think Kamala's in for a big surprise.
But I tell you, did you see Jill Biden at the Olympics with Spike Lee at this Olympic party?
No.
Oh!
Kathy's thing.
If you see Jill Biden, she's at some event in Paris. She runs into Spike Lee. I've never seen her look like this. She looks like she's on another planet. She's in a deep anxiety state. They removed her and her husband from power, and she obviously has not taken it well.
No, she's not. And she's not going to stay with Joe. Joe is going to decline, and she's going to...
Yeah, she's going to go back to Delaware and change diapers and feed him pudding. All right, Roz, good to hear from you. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian.
Hey, Richie. Hey.
First of all, you're right about the Canadians, but it was basically the French Canadians.
That's what I said, yeah. And she was raised in a French Canadian.
Yeah, one day I said to a lady on the bus, I said, "Oh, you God save the Queen," and she went crazy. She said, "No, I'm French. I'm from Quebec." And I said, "Oh my God."
Oh yeah, they're the worst.
They at that particular time, and they took over Hollywood Beach. Now I'm going to say something about you saying about, first of all, I'm away from New York City I left there in 1967. You could put it on our calendar. I went back for like 8 months in 77. I feel like New York hasn't left me because that's where I was raised.
Well, that's how it is. You know, I moved to Florida from Ohio in 1982, but I still connect with J.D. Vance because I'm a Buckeye still, even though I've lived here since '82.
How about criminals? If you take a look at most people that are in prison, they didn't start out when they were 19. They started out when they were 12, 13.
Yeah.
They started doing all this stuff. So whatever you do as a young man or a woman, that's basically what you're going to be when you get older. And that's why...
So Kamala Harris is a French-Canadian raised by an Indian woman in Canada.
Absolutely, but, it's her policies got me scared to death of, this equity crap. Let me tell you.
Equity.
You got anything. Equity is making everyone miserable. Because there are people that start out in life a little ahead of the other people. So what are you going to do? Take what they have to give?
Equity is a liberal code word for Marxism. They take everything, put it in a pot, and split it equally among everybody. That's equity. It's called communism.
Yeah, that's communist. She's a total commie. And they're going to find out about this. Nobody can tell.
Well, Canada is a socialist country. So, so she's been raised under socialism. Of course she's going to promote socialism, communism, not much difference, And so since she was raised in a socialist society, going to a French-Canadian school from 12 through the first year of college, she was raised as a socialist.
Not only that, look at the media, how they're drooling all over her, making her look like like Wonder Woman. People ready to kick her behind out of office a couple of months ago. They thought she was the worst. They have flipped in 2 days. They flipped. This tells me it's not real. What they have done, and the average person with any kind of brain that sees what the media has done, that all of a sudden they kicked Joe out, and now she...
And how can her husband have this company employing CCP party officials, making millions of dollars?
Let me tell you.
That's her.
I would... He has to be the biggest lowlife in the world for a man. Knowing what your wife has done,
yes,
past to get where she's gotten, and sit there like I call it a humala.
Well, we only got a few seconds left, but what I was suggesting, Richie, is it's not a real marriage; it's a business relationship, and he may be her Chinese handler.
And he looks like he looks like an impotent fool out there.
Yes. But he's got it, yeah. All right, well, I'm out of time for this hour. She is the worst. All right. 1 hour down, 2 to go. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Back right after our top of the hour break. Don't go anywhere.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar. WYRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown. And Hurry Broward on 96.9 FM. Boca Raton on 95.3 FM. West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM. And in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the All-Year Cooling Weather Center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation.
By the way, got this in the mail from a listener today at the radio station. Isn't that a nice shirt? You guys like that? Nice shirt, huh? It's awesome. I love it.
With cloudy skies. As we get to the evening hours, we are expected to have some thunderstorms, so keep an umbrella close by if you're going out, and have a good, safe rest of your Monday.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Heads up in Lake Worth, all lanes are blocked due to an overturned tractor trailer on the turnpike southbound past the West Palm Beach Service Plaza. The right shoulder does get by, heavy delays past Southern Boulevard. Up to speed on 95 north and south through Jupiter, Palm Beach, and West Palm. This traffic update is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need at the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they're guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep it ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. That's traffic.
exciting OTV action from top horse tracks around the country, including Saratoga Racetrack, now through September 1st.
I got so many big stories. I'm deciding which one to open with. I'm going to open with this one. It's hard to choose which one to open with each hour because there's so much.
August 23rd, the Pure Zeppelin Experience October 11th, let it be November 8th, and more. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Brian Craig here. When it comes time to get my blood work done, I don't have time to spend hours in the doctor's office or waiting hours for one of those big labs. That's why I do any lab test now at Boca and any lab test now at Coral Springs for all of Ohio. Their techs are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes or less. I get the results the next day in my email box, and they also send to my doctor. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now with Boca and any lab test now with Coral Springs. Any lab test now with Boca is in the Sandalwood Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hinsboro Boulevard, on the east side of Stabler 7, 441. Any lab test now at Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call any lab test now at Boca at 561-237-5009. Any lab test now at Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to ask you a question. How important is a good night's sleep, and when was the last time you got one? I get one each and every night with the MyPillow mattress topper. They're 50%
What the heck?
off now with
Oh,
the
there we
promo
go.
code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com. Pair it with new pillows and those fabulous Giza Dream Sheets. There's huge discounts on those too. Free shipping on all orders over $75 with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com. You'll thank me in the morning.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, hour number 2 has begun. Callers on hold, stand by. So much to cover involving Kamala. A lot's come out over the weekend. You know, she was not supposed to be the pick when Biden stepped down, you know. And there's an incredible article, which I'm going to go through here, in PJ Media, online at pjmedia.com. And I've tweeted most everything I talk about, and much that I don't even get to, I post on X. So if you follow me on X at Brian Craig Show, you get all this stuff. Listen to this. Joe Biden's prompt endorsement of Kamala, and this has been reported in multiple places. Joe Biden's prompt endorsement of Kamala Harris as the next Democrat presidential nominee left many scratching their heads. However, sources have told the New York Post that Joe Biden had a specific reason for doing so, endorsing Kamala, and it was revenge. It was obvious to everyone that Biden did not want to drop out of the presidential race, but prominent party leaders, including Nancy Pelosi and Barack Hussein Obama, as well as some of the mega donors, forced his hand. They blackmailed him, which is, they may have committed treason. I don't think may. It sounds like treason to me. They blackmailed him. They told Joe that if he didn't drop out of the race, that they would invoke the 25th Amendment. So he dropped out on Sunday. Listen to this. To get his revenge on them for their extortion, threatening the 25th Amendment, to get his revenge on them, Biden put them in a position where they had to rally behind Kamala Harris by endorsing her soon after. And if you remember, Nancy didn't endorse her right away, and it took Obama like a week almost, it seemed. This is from the New York Post. Joe Biden, who said he was dropping out in defense of democracy during his public address Wednesday, had been told by Barack Obama to allow delegates of next month's Democrat National Convention in Chicago to decide a new candidate. The New York Post has a source close to the Biden family that told them this. So Obama's the one that made the call, called Joe and Jill. And you know Joe and Jill made a recording of this. You know it. They may not have told Barack, but they made a recording of it. And Obama told the Bidens Kamala and the cabinet have said they're going to go for the 25th Amendment and remove you from office if you don't step aside. And then he said, don't endorse anyone. We're gonna take care of it in the convention. And the Bidens were ticked. I mean, look at Joe Biden with Spike Lee at the Olympics over the weekend. She's fuming. It was Joe's big FU, says the source close to the Biden family, to the New York Post. Joe said, if I'm out, then I am endorsing her. Talk among Democrat insiders is that Joe Biden saw this as a final way to assert some control over him being tossed out. Because these are, as Democrats, these are, people obsessed with power. A well-placed Democrat Party source told the New York Post they heard the same thing, saying that Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer all wanted to hold a mini primary, which Barack Obama believed Kamala Harris would not win. Multiple sources have told the New York Post that Barack Obama wanted Arizona Senator Mark Kelly at the top of the ticket at the convention. That's something. And it goes on to say that Barack didn't believe then, doesn't believe now that Kamala can beat Trump. But he had no choice but to endorse her with that ridiculous fake phone call with Michelle Friday. So there you have it. So this is really amazing. What we have is a divided Democrat Party, a civil war inside the Democrat Party. They're pissed off. None of them wanted her. This talk of picking Kelly as the number 2, notice how that's kind of evaporated, and they're talking about this corrupt governor of Pennsylvania involved in some type of money scandal. I got to look more into that. But it's because Kelly thought he was going to be the nominee. And he's crooked. He's crooked. Remember his wife is the congresswoman who was shot, Gabby Giffords, and he made some deal. Him and his brother are twins, and they're both astronauts. He went up on one of the last shuttle flights, and his brother, if he didn't get on the last shuttle flight, it was one of the last ones. So the Kellys, and they made a deal with Obama to do that. So Mark Kelly and that family are corrupt, and they're in with the Obamas, made dirty deals with the Obamas in the past. I don't know why they thought he would be some great candidate. I think he's despicable. He's a disgrace to astronauts, I must tell you. Okay? But he doesn't want to be the number 2, and Kamala's people may be afraid that at the convention he might make a move to become top of the ticket. She still does not have the nomination. So this division inside the Democrat Party is a very good thing. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Yes, Doug.
First, I'd like to say thank you for breaking that news about Kamala Harris and her husband with the Chinese connection, man.
Oh, that's huge.
Oh, man. Yeah, I definitely agree that no wonder she got picked as the vice president because...
Well, see, I always thought that Barack forced Biden to pick her. Now it looks like China did, the CCP.
That's what it sounds like. What a bunch of lowlights we have on the Democratic people, man. I don't get it, but that's what we have. It's really sickening to think that we could have people that are that.
Why are so many Democrats on the Chinese payroll?
Well, China's a smart people.
Oh, yes.
So they pay the people off, and they get what they want, and they buy land, buy around nuclear power plants.
They set up spy centers around our military bases. They set up police stations in New York and harass people.
It's just amazing that we got to go through this. But this is what we got. I'm glad that everybody now is going to know, hopefully, that she has no chance to become president. Because who they're going to vote for her, knowing that...
Well, we have to swamp them. We have to have as close to a 100% voter turnout as possible. It's not a time to be comfortable.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Because these people are going to do whatever they can to win that election.
Mm-hmm.
I think all the illegals are going to vote.
Well, that's the goal next time around, because remember, Elizabeth Warren was saying all weekend that Kamala wants to legalize and make citizens of all the illegals. And they've already brought enough illegals here to almost equal the state of Florida's population. And then once they're citizens, they can vote. It's a long-term, yeah.
But, I'm talking about that they're saying that the illegals are going to try to vote. I said, I don't want to.
So some of them may try and be successful. The only places they'll be successful with that are in blue states like California. So I don't worry about that.
Or maybe Chicago, maybe, I don't know. But
no, that's blue too, Illinois.
Yeah, exactly. And that'd be New York as well. One other thing I'd like to bring out, you mentioned the Olympics. Did you see that show?
Yeah.
As soon as I saw
the demonic Olympic opening, yes, I saw it.
Oh man, it was, and then.
Listen. They could not even get good drag queens. Those drag queens, and I'm not talking about their physical appearance. Their talent level was amateur hour. It was amateur hour. They were not even like they couldn't sing, they couldn't dance, they couldn't lip sync. But it was those Olympic opening ceremonies are 100% demonic. There's one portion of it, and you may have seen this on X. I don't recommend anyone go and see this. I saw it, and I wish I wouldn't have. It's one of those things you can't unsee. One of the guys in the opening ceremonies was wearing like these bikini-looking things, and one of his testicles was hanging out, and there were children in front of him, little kids, little girls, and boys. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Spielberg, I said, "What the heck? Spielberg's not going to be."
Well, I was when I heard Steven Spielberg was in charge of the opening ceremonies. I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And was that a Spielberg's production? Come on.
There's got to be. As soon as I saw him, that guy's a liberal jerk. He's not going to be able to.
Well, that's true.
Movies, make some good movies, but man, I don't.
No, when they had the opening in London, that was like a movie. Where they had the Queen jumped out of the plane with James Bond, and they had that whole thing with James Bond and the Queen at the palace. That was really cool. And the opening ceremony was amazing. They had the Spice Girls. I saw this. If you and I went to the Pride Parade in Wilton Manors during Pride Month, you would see better talent than those drag. And then at night on I think it was Saturday, the power went out in Paris. And when they did that thing at the end where they did the reenactment with drag queens of the Last Supper, that was too far, and that was too far. And I have not watched 1 second of the Olympics, and I as much as I don't watch sports, I always watch the Summer and Winter Olympics. I like the Olympics a lot, and I have not watched a second of it because of that.
Yeah, man, I felt bad for all the athletes that worked their whole life to get up there, and half the people I think are not watching because of it.
I mean, remember when they did that thing about at the Charlie Hebdo, at that magazine in Paris, where they had a depiction of the Prophet Muhammad, and then they all got murdered by terrorists? Remember that? You would think that they would have a little more respect for religions. Now, of course, the Christians haven't behaved as they have, but France is a Catholic country. Joan of Arc, right? It's a Catholic country, and they did that.
I'm telling you, whoever came up with that really.
Let me tell you, the Pope should excommunicate everybody connected with that.
And that would be a great move, but they won't do. Anyway, the Lady Gaga, I was so upset that Lady Gaga should be ashamed of herself. That song stunk.
I didn't get that far.
The dancing stunk, and even my kids started laughing. I said, "This is," and they laughed, and we shut.
I mean, what were they thinking? If I were doing when I saw that Steven Spielberg was put in charge of the opening ceremonies, and I saw what they did, I thought maybe they put Roman Polanski in charge of it, because he's such a pervert, and he's in France. But I was excited because I thought, okay, maybe we'll see something with Napoleon or Joan of Arc or something, a little Moulin Rouge going on and something really cool and exciting. And I saw a bunch of amateur hour performers. And then, it was there has been global outrage towards the Olympics after that. And Kamala went on RuPaul's drag show at the end of last week. Kamala picked a bad week to go hang out with RuPaul and the drag queens.
Yeah, sure.
All right, take care. Appreciate the call. If they were talented, it still would have been bad. The Last Supper thing, that was way too over the line. I mean, that was complete blasphemy. But they couldn't even find talented people. Come on. All right, we'll take our first break of the second hour. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hi, it's Katie from Will Floor You. I'm announcing our annual summer sale on all of our in-stock flooring. For 41 years, this has always been the time to buy your new floor at the absolute best price.
The Horseman of the Apocalypse stuff, too.
Yeah.
You see that with the white horse going across?
Yeah.
That's Revelations and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Antichrist rides on and stuff.
Yep.
Waterproof laminate from $2.99 a square foot and plush or Berber carpet as low as 99 cents a square foot. Multiple styles and colors to select from. Get the perfect new floor for way less than you imagine. Visit our store outlet on Monroe Street for some deals and steals in our carpet remnant room. For the best selection, visit us soon in Jupiter at the corner of Indiantown Road and alternate A1A next to Publix, in Stewart on Monroe Street and Federal Highway, and Will Floor, the letter U, FLA.com. Will Floor, your hometown floor store that has it all.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
It's time to save more and savor more on unforgettable cruise vacations with Margaritaville at Sea. Upgrade your summer plans with free stateroom upgrades. Plus, buy one, get one guest fares on Bahamas and Caribbean cruises through 2025. Grab your best mate and get ready for unforgettable journeys filled with handcrafted cocktails, jaw-dropping entertainment, and deep blue ocean views. Now sailing easy breezy getaways from Palm Beach and Tampa Bay. Your upgraded adventure awaits on board Margaritaville at Sea. Claim your license to chill and this limited time free upgrade offer at margaritavillatSea.com.
And now a message from Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com.
This is Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com. I'm back. Dog days of summer are upon us. Your AC is struggling, running constantly, trying to hold the temperature, maybe even failing late afternoon. Your electric bill has gone up, even doubled. Radiant Barrier is the cure. Stop the heat gain.
I got a sneeze coming on right at the end of the commercial. Oh, gosh.
Cutting the FPL bills up to 40%. Dog days of summer, 50% on Radiant Barrier and insulation.
Thank you for the bless yous.
We even do AC ducts in the heat.
The air just popped on over my head. Every time that does that, it makes me sneeze.
2,000 square feet and $1,000 off over 4,000 square feet, plus a 30% federal tax credit. So call now, 954-939-1500 to save big. Call 954-939-1500 and talk to the owner, Scott. That's 954-939-1500. CutMyKilowatts.com. Estimates given on the phone, work done in days, not weeks. Easier than ordering a pizza.
Here we go.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies FL.
All right, I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. I am back. I have the latest polls, and they're very good for Trump and America and Western civilization and the MAGA movement and everyone else. Before I get to those, though, I want to talk about Dr. Appleton. Remember Eller? He's the listener up in Rochester, New York, who got on a plane, flew to Florida, stayed here for 4 days. So not only could he see Dr. Philip Appleton for his laser wave pain treatment, he wanted to get multiple treatments, so he stayed here for a few days. And he wrote a letter to Dr. Appleton after he was back home for a while. And here's the letter. Dear Dr. Appleton, I wanted to thank you for giving me my life back. My knees are now painless. I'd like to let you know that after 3 weeks how I'm doing. By the way, he calls in from time to time. He called in on Friday, and he's still doing well beyond the 3 weeks. Every day I can walk and stand without any pain. In the evening, I don't suffer like I did before. I came back, he writes in cursive. Cursive is almost like a lost art. I've hardly read cursive in years. I came back home and I had a doctor's appointment. Surprisingly, my blood pressure read 118. Usually it's 135 to 146. I asked my doctor if the painless knee has something to do with it. He said yes. Not only is my pain gone, but my heart is not working as hard as before. Thank you, Eller from Rochester, New York. That's just an amazing letter. And all I can say after that is appointments are never necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays with Dr. Appleton. Give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. Okay, so I've got the latest polls. Don't believe any of these nonsense polls you're seeing on Fox or anywhere else. They're all lies. The election is not even close between President Trump and Kamala Harris, okay? And, you know, some of the polls, most every poll they show you are national polls, which include, you know, Oregon and New York and California and stuff. Elections are decided in this country in the battleground states. The national polls are meaningless. That's it. Then, you know, Brett Baer, who's a passionate Trump hater, he was talking about this last week on his show on Fox. He says, I only watch the battleground polls. That's where the elections are decided. The national polls are misleading. He was talking about his own polls from his own network, Fox. But, yeah, that's it. I mean, so you want to look at the battleground polls. Now, battleground states, the toss-up states, they change from election to election cycle. For example, Ohio and Florida used to be considered swing states. They no longer are swing states. They're strongly MAGA, Florida and Ohio. And Trump has also turned Minnesota, Nevada, and Virginia into swing states. Okay? So this is a swing state, battleground state poll. This is from the Hill, and it's up to date as of this morning. Latest polls from the battleground states. Those are the only ones I watch. Now, if you've listened to me over the years, I'm not a big poll watcher or follower. I talk about them from time to time because they're in the news, and you've got to respond to them because there's all this push polling trying to make you think that it's close when it's not, as you'll hear when I go through the battleground state polls, which is where the election is decided. Anyone disagree with that? It's not decided. It's decided by the swing states, the battleground states. That's a fact, always, always. But that's true. But what I always follow with the polls is the trend, and I find that whoever is in the lead, and I followed a lot of elections, in the battleground swing state polls, whoever is in the lead stays in the lead. It may change and go back and forth to how much of a lead there is, but who's ever in the lead stays in the lead, especially when you're 99 days out. Okay, so here's the battleground state polls from the Hill, and these are all Trump and Kamala, and these are the most updated polls as of this morning. Arizona, 51.1 to 44.7, with Trump leading in Arizona by 6.4 points. Georgia, 47.9 to 43.1, with Trump leading by 4.8 points. Michigan, 49.6 to 47.6, with Trump leading by 2. Minnesota, no Republican has won Minnesota since Nixon in 72. Minnesota is 41-44, with Harris leading by 3, which is within the margin of error. And by the way, there's only one poll in Minnesota, so we don't have other polls to factor in. These other ones have polls like Arizona, Trump leads by 6.4. That's a collection of 6 polls. Georgia, where Trump leads by 4.8, that's a collection, an average of 9 polls. Michigan, where Trump leads by 2, that's a collection of 4 polls. Minnesota, that has Kamala ahead, but within the margin of error, there's only 1 poll there, all right? Which means, I know this. I watched President Trump and J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance had one of his best, probably, moments in his political career there. We'll talk about that later. But there were 25,000 people outside that couldn't get into the venue. Nevada, 49.5 to 40.9, with Trump leading in Nevada by 8.6. North Carolina, 46 to 43, with Trump leading by 3. And here's another one, right? Only 1 poll in North Carolina to average by, and Trump's up by 3. Pennsylvania, 49.2 to 45.4, with Trump leading by 3.8. Virginia, 42.3 to 44.9, with Kamala up 2.6, which is below the margin of error. So, you know, the margin of error is much higher than that. So Trump could be 3 to 5 points ahead in Virginia. Wisconsin, 49 to 48.9, with Trump leading by 0.1. So, you know, there's an old saying, the trend is my friend. And you look, the trend is all in Trump's favor. And in these states where, there's 2 states where she's ahead, they're both Democrat states that are now battleground states, but she's barely ahead within the margin of error in both of them. So Kamala is not doing well in this race. The polls you're seeing on television are fake. They are misleading. They are meant to mislead. Don't believe them. Only look at the battleground polls, which is what I do. And that's what I do every election. Okay? Now, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. There's a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Okay.
The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the All-Year Cooling Weather Center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Marone from the All-Year Cooling Weather Center. Today is Monday, July 29th, 2024, and right now it's 78 degrees outside. As we go throughout the day, temperatures has 88 degrees with cloudy skies. As we get to the evening hours, we are expected to have some thunderstorms, so keep an umbrella close by if you're going out, and have a good, safe rest of your Monday.
Weather brought to you by All-Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All-Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Heads up in Lake Worth, all lanes are blocked due to an overturned tractor trailer on the turnpike southbound past the West Palm Beach Service Plaza. The right shoulder
going past the
Yeah.
the plaza, there was a lot of cop cars and dust and stuff, so
Oh, yeah.
it actually makes sense with the traffic.
That's traffic. I'm Dory Don.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the poker room at PBKC, open daily for cash games, high hands, mega bad beat jackpots, and exciting tournaments like the $100,000 guaranteed Monster Multi-Flight Tournament, August 8th through 11th. Visit our newly expanded table game area with ultimate Texas Hold'em and big card poker for just a $5 minimum. PBKC is your entertainment destination. Go to ppkennelclub.com.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. I just want to say thank you for Dr. Appleton because I'm from Orlando. It took 3 hours to go down there. Took my 90-year-old mom. My mom walked straighter than she ever walked in her life. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being such a willing vessel to talk about Dr. Appleton.
That's amazing. So you heard me in Orlando talking about Dr.
I'm getting things ready for the next segment.
South Florida with your mother to see him.
Yeah, my mom is awesome now. Awesome. No more arthritis, no more pills, none of that. She's going back to New York. She sits on a train for 24 hours. And I'm telling you, no pain. She gets off that train, and my sister says she walks like a young woman.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain, too. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com.
The Greater South Florida Chamber of Commerce Senior Lifestyle Excellent Health Fair is coming up Wednesday, July 31st at Discovery Village at Stewart. Dozens of vendors will be on hand. Plenty of fun for days. The Trolley Shadow will be on site from 11 to 1 with your chance to win a free cruise aboard Margaritaville at Sea. We'll see you Wednesday, July 31st at the Greater South Florida Chamber of Commerce Senior Lifestyle Excellent Health Fair at Discovery Village at Stewart, 2625 Southeast Cove Road in Stewart. Learn more at GreaterSouthFloridaChamber.com.
Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation West El Rey and hormone replacement pellet therapy. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is all natural. What it does is restore your hormones to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, you'll have more energy, you'll get your sex drive back, and women, hormone replacement pellet therapy completely stops and reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone. Night sweats gone. I've met listeners before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Matez, and when I first meet him, they're like Joe Biden, and no one wants to be like him. And then I meet him again after they began hormone replacement pellet therapy, and they have their energy back, just like Trump. They're standing up tall, and they feel years younger. Now, it's always a free consultation with Dr. Matez when you tell him you heard about him on the radio. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893.
Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Celebrating 47 years on the air.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I'm going to get to some of my audio sound bites because we got a lot of good. If you'd like to call in, by the way, the number is toll free 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll free call no matter where you're calling from. Okay, so Kamala Harris got a lot of problems. And what a couple of her biggest problems is this. She spent the last 4 or 5 years doing nothing but giving interviews and talking to groups, saying very crazy and outrageously liberal, radical things. And these are all recent. And they're all over the place, okay? And I'm going to play some of them in a moment. But the other problem she has is this doom scrolling thing that we have going on in our society. So many people, the majority of Americans really, spend their life in their phone scrolling through social media. And all these things about Kamala Harris are overloading the online social media platforms, all of them, no matter which one you use, even Instagram. Okay? And people are like, what? She said what? She supports what? Yeah, I know. It's insane. Listen to this one. This is nuts. Now keep in mind what happened last week. Washington, D.C. was attacked by pro-terrorist Hamas supporters. They took down the American flags. from Union Station in Washington, D.C., burned them, the American flags, and raised Palestinian flags. And then they started graffitiing pro-Hamas stuff all over the place. Here's Kamala speaking to a group not that long ago. Listen.
You must have the courage to object when they use that term, radical Islamic terrorism, which is
Okay, so and that's just part one. She says something else here too. She says I know the audio's not the best on that. That's okay, because I'm going to tell you what she said, and I'm going to play it again. You'll be able to make it out better if you couldn't the first time. She says we got to rethink this term, radical Islamic terrorism. Well, what else would you call it? 9/11, the attack on the music festival in Israel in October. What would you call these things? You just want to call it Islamic terrorism? Or I thought, and it's an interesting thing because radical Islamic terrorism is what the left wanted us to start calling it after 9/11, because people just said Muslim terrorist, Islamic terror, and they said, no, that's not all. It's radical. So we started calling them radical. Now they don't, what do they want us to take Muslim out? I don't know. Why she's so sympathetic towards radical Islamic terrorists, I don't know, but she is part of their PR machine.
You must have the courage to object when they use that term, radical Islamic terrorism, which ignores how Muslims have overwhelming.
Wow, that's nuts. Now listen to what she says next. No more radical Islamic terrorism. What are the Boston bombers? What do you want us to call them, Kamala?
Been the greatest victims of terror.
Oh, Muslims are the greatest victims of terror. Really? Tell that to the Americans that died in the World Trade Center. Tell that to the Americans that died in the Pentagon and their families. Tell that to the people's families who lost family in that Pennsylvania field on Flight 93. Okay? Tell the Jews who lost their children at the music festival in Israel. Better yet, why don't you just tell the parents of those kids that were killed on the playground over the weekend in Israel that Muslims are the biggest victims of Islamic terrorism? Or why don't you go talk to that Olympian that's yelling Allah Akbar, okay, at the Olympics? I didn't watch it, but I've heard about it. All right, anyway, back to this.
You must have the courage to object when they use that term, radical Islamic terrorism, which ignores how Muslims have overwhelmingly been the greatest victims of terror.
Oh, even the liberals, when she says Muslims have been the biggest victims of terror, even the Muslim terrorist sympathizers in the audience, I only heard like 2 claps from that one.
Also have the courage to reject that term, illegal alien.
Then she says, also have the courage to reject the term illegal alien. What are we supposed to call them? Probably Americans. She probably wants us to call them Americans. See, what Kamala Harris has done for the past however long she's been in politics is this, okay? Every position she's held, and this is true, these childless cat ladies, as J.D. Vance calls them, that are in politics, okay, like Kamala Harris. What they do is they go from office to office, okay, and whenever they're in an office, all they're doing is trying to get to the next higher office. Like she was district attorney of San Francisco. That was a stepping stone to attorney general. That was a stepping stone to senator, stepping stone to vice president, then vice president's a stepping stone to president. And what Kamala has been doing is what a lot of liberal politicians do. They speak to activist groups and an activist audience, and they tell that group what they want to hear and whatever they've got to tell them to get them that little bit of support so she can get to the next level. So she spent the last 5 years, really more, but the last 5 years is where most of this is from, speaking to radical liberal activist groups, telling them radical, insane, left-wing things to get their support to get to that next level. And everything's recorded. And it's all over social media now. And that is what's going to do her in with this dream she has of being the first whatever president. Now, another thing they're trying to promote with her is, yeah, we'll get to that in just a second. That's the next clip. I was a little quick on that. Now, the next thing they're trying to tell you is that because she's a minority woman, this is a historic thing. Joy Reid said last week, black people get in line, do what you're told, vote for Kamala, you don't want to look stupid. And they're trying to tell us that she is a symbol of racial something. And I've been telling you guys since this started last week, I don't think to many people in this country it's a big deal that a woman or a minority is running for president anymore. It used to be. When Obama was running, it was a big deal. Okay, he was the first black person nominated by one of the major parties. But we had a black president elected and reelected, 2 terms. We had a woman, Hillary Clinton, nominated. Okay, she lost, but she was nominated. So it's no big deal now. But they want to tell you in the liberal media that it is. So Benny Johnson, who is a conservative guy, he goes out on the streets of, I'm not sure if this is New York, I don't know where this is, but he goes out on the streets and talks to black people, young black people, about Kamala Harris. This is insane. Listen to this. You think she's really famous? Well, listen.
What do you think about Kamala Harris? Huh? What do you think about Kamala Harris?
Who that? He said. Who dat? Who dat?
What do you think about Kamala Harris? Huh? What do you think about Kamala Harris?
She's the vice president for Biden.
Come on. Who? Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris, she's the vice president. Now she's running for president. Kamala Harris? She's running for president now. Joe Biden dropped out? Do you like her?
I don't know her.
Yeah.
These are all young black people on the street that he's interviewing. I don't know who she is. Who's that?
Harris? She's running for president now. Joe Biden dropped out? Do you like her?
I don't know her.
Yeah.
They don't give a damn.
Oh my goodness.
They don't like you. I don't like you. Nobody likes you.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris?
Yeah.
Hey, it's about time a black woman get in the office.
Oh, got one supporter there. All right, got 1 out of 5. So, and these are all black people.
Carlos Smith, from her, I ain't really seen that she done. So I mean, I hope she accomplishes some big things should she get in office. But I really ain't really heard nothing about what she's done.
Wow. So they find one Kamala Harris supporter. These are all black people, and he can't think of anything she's done. Oh my goodness.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something.
Harris, sir? What do you think? Yeah?
Oh, now this guy, Kamala Harris, what do you think? And black guy, he yells Trump.
I'd take Trump back there.
Trump 2024?
Yeah. Do not.
I mean, this is brutal. Benny John. I mean, this goes on. I'm not going to play the whole thing. It goes on for a long time. But she does not have the name. She's not as famous as she thinks she is. Because to even young black people in this country, a black woman running, yeah, I know some people say she's not black, she's Indian, whatever you want to classify, it ain't no big deal. It's not a big deal. And they don't even know who she is. This is this transformative figure, this role model that you've got to get in line and vote for. All right, let's take our last break of the second hour and be right back.
A cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Chamber of Commerce Lifestyle Excellent Health Fair is coming up Wednesday, July 31st at Discovery Village at Stewart. Dozens of vendors will be on hand, plenty of fun, food, and giveaways. The True Channel will be on site from 11 to 1 with your chance to win a free cruise aboard Margaritaville at Sea. We'll see you Wednesday, July 31st at the Greater South Florida Chamber of Commerce Senior Lifestyle Excellent Health Fair at Discovery Village at Stewart,
University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Mary on Demand is live. Start your marijuana education journey today. Learn at your own pace and check out the Medical Marijuana Education Series. You decide what you'd like to learn and when with Mary on Demand. Visit mary.famu.edu. That's mmeri.famu.edu. And remember, recreational marijuana is still illegal in Florida. Mary, educate, learn, talk.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Have you been to Chowderheads in Jupiter yet? If you were looking for the best seafood in town, you have to try Chowderheads. You'll love their authentic New England seafood, flown in fresh from Boston. Their award-winning lobster rolls, clam chowder, and fried oysters are absolutely delicious. Come taste it for yourself. You will want to keep coming back for more at Chowderheads, located in the Driftwood Plaza on South US Highway 1 in Jupiter. Now open 7 days a week. For reservations or to go, call 561-203-2903 or check out their menu at chowderheadsusa.com.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, and you know, our 6th annual MAGA cruise is coming up. We leave at the end of March. It's a 7-day cruise, and this one is spectacular. We're going to be on Celebrity's newest ship, and I was talking to Ian, our travel agent from Cruise and Travel Depot, who handles all of our cruises, and he was talking to me about some of the other cruises and what we offer that others don't. And he's going to call in later this week and give you some more details. But you know, with our cruise, 2 things that are included that are not included with other cruises, drinks and Wi-Fi. And by the way, if you don't drink alcohol, you still have free, specialty drinks, free, they got a coffee bar like they have like their own Starbucks kind of thing. It's not Starbucks, but it's like Starbucks coffee. Sodas and expensive waters and all that are covered. But we have drinks and Wi-Fi included. Do you know that the drink package alone, if you went on one of these other cruise lines like Carnival, okay? It'd be $1,700 for the drink package, $1,700 for a 7-day cruise. That's amazing. And it's included in ours. There's other things that are included. Ian will tell you more. But if you've not made your reservation, join us. I mean, we just have a great time on these cruises. We've got incredible shore excursions set up. We're just finalizing the shore excursions, and when we do, we'll announce them. But they're the most spectacular shore excursions I think we've ever had. And we've had some pretty spectacular excursions, haven't we? Oh, man, we had a great time last time, too, on our excursions. But we've got each cruise, we got to top the excursions from the one before. To me, the trip is about 2 things. We got a great group of people we hang out with on the ship. And when we go ashore, we have these wonderful, incredible, beautiful memory makers of shore excursions. And all our shore excursions are private. Only people in our group are in them. So to find out all kinds of information about it, all the details, including pricing, call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. His number 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779. All right, and join us. All right, so our number 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, and we're really talking everything that's going on in this race because so much has happened over the weekend, and I'm just so sickened by what's going on in the news. In particular, Fox News was doing some good coverage after President Trump was shot and during the convention. And now they've just turned against Trump again, right? With their fake polls, and too many liberals on there. So we got to set the record straight here. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Scott from Buckner.
Oh, hey, Scott. You caught me off guard there, Scott. Next time, text me before you call in so I can do a proper introduction, all right? Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, he's going to tell you how he can save you money during these. It's going to feel like over 100 degrees today.
Yeah, the weather's getting worse and worse and worse, and a lot of people are thinking, well, I'll just tough it out, but you're not going to make it. It's getting...
Oh.
July's good. I mean, August is here, and then September gets even worse. I mean, it's been over. If you're going to do something, it's time to call us now. The deals have never been better. I mean, the radiant barrier that we do literally is a game changer in your house, lowers the temperature in your attic 30, 40 degrees, cuts your AC runtime 30 to 40%, maybe even as high as 50% sometimes. I mean, it's just turns your house from a hot, humid, miserable place to a cool, crisp.
And you know, think about that. Your air conditioner is going to run 30, 40, maybe even 50% less than it does now. That's not just this summer. That's every summer forever.
And you're either gonna fix your house and be comfortable, or just keep paying FPL and being miserable. It's just
exactly. Save money and be comfortable. That sounds a pretty good deal. Now you're offering some incredible deals on the radiant barrier. Can you tell people about those?
Yeah, if you do radiant barrier and you do 2,000 square feet, you get $500 off. If you do 4,000 square feet, you get $1,000 off. If you do radiant barrier and insulation together, I give them to you each for $1 each. So literally, that's like 40% off the radiant barrier, and it's 20% off the insulation. And my prices are literally the same they were when I started with your show 15 years ago.
Yeah, and Scott from Cut My Kilowatts has been with us every summer here on the program for 15 years. And we have 3 sponsors that show you that that prices are not going up everywhere. They're in fact staying the same or going down. And Scott is one of those. So you're getting 15-year-ago pricing. Scott, people can call or text message you. Can you give out your number?
Yeah, 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. And if you want to, you can call or text me, or you can look us up on the web at cutmykilowatts.com. And there's no time like the.
That's right. So give Scott a call. His number is 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. And Scott, if he doesn't answer the phone, he'll call you right back. He calls back faster than anyone I've ever known.
The other thing is the 30% federal income tax credit. So whatever you spend with me, the federal government gives you 30% back. I mean, it's never been a better time to do this.
Absolutely. All right, Scott, we'll talk soon. Take care.
God bless America. God bless President Trump.
That's right. Scott at Cut My Kilowatts is a good MAGA guy. Give him a call. Okay, so much has come out over Kamala Harris. And I know some Democrats may say, oh, Brian, you're talking so much about Kamala. You must be worried. No, I'm not worried at all. But I think people need to be informed as to what's going on. There's so much misinformation coming. And I'll tell you, I don't have a worry in the world about Kamala Harris. And I mean that. And there's a number of reasons why. But the main reason is, without question, what happened just over 2 weeks ago at that rally in Pennsylvania when Trump got shot, his life was saved by an act of God. I mean, quarter an inch. He did something at a point in the rally he rarely does, and it caused him to move just enough, and his life was spared. Why would God do that if he wasn't going to win? And another thing, too, about President Trump, I mean, you really got to think about this, because I know some people say, oh, you guys, you're in a cult. You worship this guy. No, I don't worship him. We respect him. We're not in a cult. But Donald Trump is a living superhero, and there aren't too many of those. And what I mean by that is he is literally faster than a speeding bullet. When you think about that, faster than a speeding bullet. And when you have something like that happen, And then you see the reaction to him after. You know, as an example, this rally in Minnesota over the weekend, which was an incredible rally where J.D. Vance, I'm going to get into this in the next hour, but J.D. Vance probably had the greatest line that he may ever have in his whole political career from now and forever, because it was so good in Minnesota. But in Minnesota, the venue was completely filled to the rafters. Literally, they were touching the ceiling. And there were 25,000 people outside that couldn't get in. Outside, in an open-air area. And like with the rallies before, I told you, you know, after what happened at that Trump rally in Pennsylvania, and by the way, you see Trump's going to go back to that spot and do another rally there. He's going to go back to the outside. People are going to these rallies knowing that they're risking their lives, and they're still going. Think about that. You know? They're still going. When they know they're risking their lives by doing it. That kind of dedication is amazing. But Trump had 25,000 people outside of the venue in Minnesota, a blue state. And I was watching on Right Side Broadcasting all day, Saturday afternoon, and they started walking down the line and showing the line of people. The line of people to get in that venue, I wish they would have gotten into a car and drove it and saw how long it was. It was the longest line of people I think I have ever seen at a Trump rally in a very blue state, Minnesota. It went so far away from the venue, it was wrapping around into residential neighborhoods. I've never seen anything like it. They know they're not getting in, but they're still there. They know they're risking their life, but they're still there. Kamala did an event on Saturday. There were 68 people in attendance. 68. It was at a nursing home. And those aren't people that travel anywhere to see her. It's a captive audience. They live there. It's a nursing home. So Trump has 25,000 outside, can't get in. I don't know how many were inside, but he had 50,000 people, let's say, right? I think that's a safe guesstimation. And Kamala had 68. So I'm not worried about it. I have zero concerns. I will go to bed early on election night and wake up early and get some good news. But we got to talk about it and discuss it. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be right back. It's The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the air since 1977. Back after this.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WYRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and Hurry Broward on 96.9 FM.
Okay.
95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the Steve Kane Show.
I go to bed early on every election night.
Cooling Weather Center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Marone from the All-Year Cooling Weather Center. Today is Monday, July 29th, 2024, and right now it's 78 degrees outside. As we go throughout the day, it's going to reach as high as 88 degrees with cloudy skies. As we get to the evening hours, we are expected to have some thunderstorms, so keep an umbrella close by if you're going out, and have a good and safe rest of your Monday.
Oh, I think the 25,000 outside was a conservative estimate. I've never seen that many people lined up. That line, that girl from Right Side, she couldn't even get to the end of the line. I've never seen a line like that. Never.
Police traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Heads up in Lake Worth, an overturned tractor trailer has a left shoulder blocked on the turnpike southbound past the West Palm.
Well, I got to be up early on the air, so I go to bed early, so I get up early, and I got to prepare to be on the air.
Palm Beach and West Palm.
If I stay up all night, I'll be out of it in the morning, and the day after is a very important show. I'll be up probably at midnight.
It's what inspired Taco Bell to create the new cheesy street chalupas with grilled steak, fresh onions, and cilantro. Try them today at participating U.S. Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. That's traffic. I'm Dory Don.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Palm Beach Kennel Club offers exciting OTB action from top horse tracks around the country, including Saratoga Racetrack, now through September 1st. Visit our incredible paddock restaurant with over 140 new HD TVs, big screens, exceptional
much anticipated Skillets restaurants are now open here in Palm Beach County. Serving the hottest breakfast in town at any of their 3 locations, Boca Raton, Delray, and Wellington. Daily baked scones, signature custom skillets, made from scratch, giant pancakes and waffles. I could go on and on. Skillets even offers a summer budget menu and kids eat free on Tuesdays. You can't beat this breakfast. Skillets is proof. You don't need to be at home for a made-from-scratch meal and to be treated like family. Skillets guests rave as Palm Beach's friendliest staff and best breakfast. Come find out for yourself. Get more information on your local Skillets at skilletsrestaurants.com.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to any lab test now at Boca and any lab test now at Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit any lab test now at Boca and any lab test now at Coral Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only 2 advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now at Boca and any lab test now at Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
On the air since 1970, it's the Steve Kane Show.
All right, the third hour has begun. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Okay, so much has been going on. They have narrowed down Kamala's choices for running mate to Kelly, the astronaut senator, and the governor of Pennsylvania. And most of the stories are favoring the Pennsylvania governor, Shapiro. Both of these guys have hardcore scandals that they're involved in now, okay? It's amazing to me. Now, I started the show at 6 talking about, and if you missed the beginning of the show, go back and listen to it because I break it all down, but Kamala Harris's husband is a Chinese front company. And I break down through the whole thing. It's insane what her and her husband are involved in with China money. It's worse than Joe Biden. They have an actual, they have to send this junkie, Hunter Biden, over there to collect money and all this stuff. They actually have a company, all right? So it's worse than Biden. They're more organized about it. It's kind of like the Clinton Foundation. But I was talking, I said, is there a Democrat out there that doesn't have connections to China? Now, Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, he's got a money laundering scandal with him involving the teachers union funding his gubernatorial campaign, which is a big problem. Major campaign finance issue, big crime, especially when Kamala's facing some campaign finance issues with taking the Biden cash. And then Mark Kelly, who's the other guy. Now, this is insane because Mark Kelly is who Obama wanted to be the nominee instead of Kamala, right? Fox News is reporting that Mark Kelly, while he was an astronaut, this was before he became a senator, but it doesn't wash this away. Mark Kelly, Senator Mark Kelly, who they're talking about being a running mate of Kamala, co-founded a company. This is insane. Senator Kelly co-funded a company that specializes in spy balloons, and the company was partially funded by a Chinese venture capitalist. So you got CCP behind him, spy balloons, which flew over the country, and then you got the other guy she's talking about, who's involved in some money laundering with the teachers union to fund his campaign scandal that is still ongoing. It's over about $1.5 million, okay? And but believe me, either one of these guys becomes the running mate, that'll become front page news. Now, the Pennsylvania governor is the one that's the favorite because they think that he'll help her take over Pennsylvania. Trump is doing so well in the battleground states that even if he lost Pennsylvania, which he is not expected to do, even with this jerk, okay? But if he were to lose Pennsylvania, he still got it. I mean, we're in a very safe spot. Now, another thing that's going on with Kamala, and this is not being done through mainstream media, it's mostly being done through social media. And I got to tell you, when Elon Musk bought Twitter, who would have realized what an amazing thing it would have been, because he's made Twitter a true free speech zone, if it's now X, but if the old people still own Twitter, all these things that I've been sharing about Kamala Harris would get you banned from Twitter. They would all be suppressed like the laptop, and none of it would be out there. They would say it was racist misinformation, it can't be allowed, and they'd shut it down. But somehow it slipped through the cracks, and the powers that be let Elon Musk buy Twitter and turn it into X, and now we're, getting the news. And there has not been on social media a positive story, soundbite, or anything about Kamala Harris in the week that she's been the nominee. Not one. And what's really, it's amazing that when some of these Trump haters come out or they talk to Democrats, Frank Luntz, he hates Donald Trump like the plague, right? And he went to Donald Trump at Trump Tower and asked him for a job, and Donald Trump said no. He didn't want to hire him. I don't know why. He didn't want to hire him. And then Frank Luntz started trashing Trump all over television. That was in the first campaign. So this guy, and President Trump has been very vocal in exposing him and talking about this many, many times over the years. Frank Luntz hates him. And he gets together with people, and he got together with one of his focus groups, and they're talking about Kamala Harris's accomplishments. Listen.
Can you name a single Harris accomplishment or result from the time that she was elected vice president? 3.5 years. Can you name just one? 70% cannot name anything.
Wow. 70% cannot name anything. Now, he doesn't tell us what the 30% named, but 70% cannot name anything. Now, I can name some things, but none of them are good, right? Borders are erasing the border. I don't have to go through a list. When there are candidates, whether you like them or not, they usually stand for something, except for Obama. But Obama was different because he was the first black nominee of a major party. So he basically ran a campaign saying, I'm the first black guy, vote for me. And at the time, that worked because there had not been a minority nominated by a major party. But other people that have run for president, right, even if you didn't like them, they stood for something. John Kerry, get us out of the war in Iraq. What are some of the others? George W. Bush ran against nation building. Then he went on to get involved in that when he became president. But he had an issue that he was running against Al Gore on. What are some of the others? Biden, he ran on, we got to stop Trump. What's Kamala running on? What accomplishments does she have? What is she saying? Vote for me because of this, 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 and this. Right? She really hasn't done that. She's basically saying, vote for me because I'm the first woman that could be president. And I'm here to tell you, the story that Obama didn't want her to get the nomination and wanted Mark Kelly, I believe that because if they wanted her to be the president, they could make her the president today. They could have done it last week. They could have invoked the 25th Amendment and removed him. Now, this thing that's been going on over the weekend with Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, this one has me a little confused. Okay? And I'll play the clip and I'll tell you what I mean by that. This is Elizabeth Warren talking about Kamala. And I know this is getting played a lot, but I've got me thinking in a different way. Listen.
Border to have more resources in the states and cities that are supporting migrants. And I believe we need to create a pathway to citizenship. All of that is a part of what we need to do for comprehensive immigration reform. Kamala Harris will work with Congress and get that done.
Okay. So Elizabeth Warren, this is on CNN. So Elizabeth Warren's all over CNN. This is being played all over the weekend, that Kamala Harris is going to make citizens of all the illegals. And it got me thinking, when I was thinking about this civil war inside the Democrat Party, is Elizabeth Warren trying to help Kamala, or is she working against Kamala? Because who in their right mind would think that a statement like that would be helpful? in every single primary state for both parties, whenever voters were interviewed and they were asked what the number one issues were, every primary voter said immigration or the border. Okay? That was the number one issue during the primaries. And I think it still is. Inflation, the price of things are almost equal to it. But it's the border first. So why would Elizabeth Warren go out and say that? It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. But I'll tell you this, okay? It's only going to, at some point, they're going to debate. And I was watching Kamala over the weekend talking about the debate. She's saying, oh, you know, he's afraid of me. I mean, he got up after he was shot. Guy seems pretty tough to me. He's not afraid of a 5'2" woman who's got the mind of a chipmunk. But Kamala, when I saw her over the weekend talking about the debate, I'm ready, I'm prepared, we're going to go, we're going to do it. Kamala actually thinks she can beat Trump in a debate. And I hope, I mean, that's what I took from her, and I hope she really does believe that, because that's when things are going to change, and they're going to change big time. All right, now, before we break, I want to talk about Mike Lindell and MyPillow. You know, just incredible specials going on right now. The new MyPillow mattress topper as low as $69.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout. I've been sleeping on the MyPillow mattress topper for years. It turns your entire mattress into a MyPillow. It's absolutely amazing. The MyPillow sheets, just $25 a set. And these MyPillow sheets, you know, I don't know how Mike Lindell does it. I don't know what it is about these sheets, but they keep you the perfect temperature all night long, all year long, especially in this 100-degree heat we're having here in South Florida. I get in bed at night, and I am cool and comfortable all night long, just like Goldilocks. The MyPillow sheets come in every mattress size as low as $25 with our promo code Kane. Same goes for the MyPillow towel sets, $25 for the 6-piece MyPillow towel sets. I have these towels. They're amazing. And for a limited time, Mike Lindell is offering the premium MyPillow that started it all for just $19.98, and that's with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone toll-free, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
This is John from Lighthouse Medical Center, CFO and Director of Neuropathy. We want to welcome you to Lighthouse Medical Center this year. It's our 75th anniversary. We've been able to help a lot of patients. We want to be able to help you with your neuropathy issues as well. You have numbness, burning, pain, tingling, lack of sleep, or balance issues. Please come see us and let us help you with that problem. There's hope out there for you. We've had thousands of patients come through Lighthouse Medical Center. Being able to see the quality improved in their life and being able to help them and their family has been a blessing to us and a blessing to them. And we look forward to doing that for the next 75 years. We don't just treat
The pet rock is smarter? That's funny. Who said that?
specialized knee pain program with non-surgical solutions for bone-on-bone and knee pain issues. We also treat chronic back pain, ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder pain. Call for a free consultation with us today. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642.
Now, guys, I'm putting a link in the, I'm going to pin it to the top of the chat. It's a friend of mine and a sponsor of the program, theNatureHill.com, and it's an online store for nutraceuticals and natural health items. They have very good products. If you're interested in natural health, check it out. Click the link, take a look. Or if you're not in the live chat and you're watching later, it's theNatureHill.com. It's a website filled with great alternative health solutions, theNatureHill.com. And, of course, they're supporting me and my content and the channel, which is a good thing. So just click that link on, take a look, and if you see something there, order it. TheNatureHill.com. I use a lot of alternative health things. I'm very much in the using supplements and have great experience with them. TheNatureHill.com. Let's see. There is.
Trying to look.
All right, it's 18 minutes after the hour. Call us on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-465-2631. 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. It's Joe from Parkland.
Hey, Joe. What's up?
Hey, no, I was just listening to you. I got a little take on, with Elizabeth Warren. Talk about Kamala Harris and how she's going to work with Congress to get citizenship for all the illegals.
Yes, great. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. So my take on it is she's signaling. She's signaling to all those illegals. They're all giddy to get them. So if they can, and they're all going to vote.
That's not true. The only place that's going to be an issue are places like California that are already blue Democrat states. It's not going to work in Texas. It's not going to work in Florida. It's not going to work in Ohio.
And Boston, I know of one specific instance where somebody who did not, an acquaintance of an acquaintance did not have the driver's license, flew to Boston to get the driver's license, and then
you can't vote in a state with an out-of-state driver's license. You have to have an in-state driver's license for residency. So that's just not the case. You can't vote in California with a Massachusetts driver's license. My goodness. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard from Pamela.
Hey, Richard.
Richard from Pamela.
Yeah, Richard, you're on the air.
Oh, okay. I kind of watch, wait a minute, One American News.
Yeah.
And they were going on about the commentators. They're like young, very young. They look like college. That the governor of Pennsylvania is Jewish and he's very vocal, pro-Israel. So how...
I find that hard to believe. I find that hard to believe. I only know three things. He's a Democrat, he's Jewish, and he's involved in some campaign finance money laundering scandal in Pennsylvania. That's all I know about him. But I find it impossible to believe that Kamala Harris is going to pick someone to be her running mate who is Jewish and strongly pro-Israel. I can believe she picked someone who's Jewish and anti-Israel because there's a lot of Jews out there who betray Israel. I have no doubt about that. But I find it that impossible to believe that she would pick him if he is hardcore pro-Israel.
I'm trying to find someone who also heard that segment.
No, I don't watch. I appreciate the call. There's no everything Kamala is doing. Okay, what Kamala is trying to do. Okay, she represents nothing. So what she's doing now, because it's a late date, she's up against a very popular candidate, Donald Trump. So what she's trying to do now is run like you would in a primary, okay? You remember Nikki Haley talked about this. Remember she said, the primary process is great. You go on to New Hampshire and then you change your thing and then you do. She's trying to be everything to everyone. And right now, most of everything Kamala Harris is doing is to try to win over the Islamic vote in Michigan. And I got to tell you something. It's really disturbing that in this, I know 9/11 was a long time ago, but it wasn't that long ago, okay? That in a post-9/11 world that we're living in, that the Democrat Party is working so hard for the Islamic vote. Sometimes I find it hard to believe. Everything she is doing is towards that Michigan vote. She's trying to get the Islamics in Michigan to strongly support her, and picking a guy, she hasn't picked anyone yet. But if she were to pick a guy who's Jewish and very strongly in support of Israel, That would not accomplish that, okay? Now, a lot of people will tell you that they support Israel, they're just against Zionism. That doesn't even make sense. The one cancels out the other, okay? That's just it. I mean, you can't be pro-Israel and be anti-Zionism because that's what Israel's all about. It's very bizarre. I don't quite understand it. So if he is a strong supporter of Israel, he either won't get picked or he'll take all that back when he gets the nomination with her. There's no way. Because I mean, look at how they're behaving. There's no room for negotiation with these people. They're hardcore radical. And I'll tell you, after what they did in Washington, D.C. last week, burning the American flags and raising the Palestinian flags, it's even more outrageous that the Democrats are working so hard to get that voter demographic. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. Okay, they gave up. I understand. Hey, it's a tough show to call. 1-888-465-2631 is the number. But no, so I don't believe any of that about that guy, unless he takes it all back. But I'll tell you this. Kamala Harris, what is going to be her undoing in the end is herself, in her own words. Listen to this. This is another clip of her. Let me pull it up. This is, some of these things that I'm hearing of Kamala Harris, when I hear them, they're so insane. Some of them, I go back and make sure they're real. Because it's hard for me to believe that someone who holds national office like she does and has for the last 3.5, almost 4 years, would go around saying stupid things so outrageous. Listen to this.
Trying to look, part of this movement, and it's not just a moment, it's a movement, standing on the shoulders of the movements before. Part of this has to be about changing the system, rehauling the system, upending the system. And so that piece of it, you're right. Under this Attorney General, I have no hope for it being implemented. But God willing, he will be out of that office shortly. And then we need to have a requirement that that office do the right thing going forward.
So then if you're for overhauling, where do you stand on defund the police?
Look, right. So here's the thing. Defund the police. The issue behind it is that we need to reimagine how we are creating safety.
Okay, that's insane. She's supporting defunding the police. I'll play the rest of it. And she says we have to reimagine how we view safety. How do you do that?
Right. So here's the thing. Defund the police. The issue behind it is that we need to reimagine how we are creating safety. And when you have many cities that have 1/3 of their entire city budget focused on policing, we know that is not the smart way and the best way or the right way to achieve safety. For too long, the status quo thinking has been you get more safety by putting more cops on the street. Well, that's wrong. Because, by the way, if you want to look at upper middle class suburban neighborhoods, they don't have that patrol car. They don't have those police walking those streets.
Okay. Now, see, she's talking about white neighborhoods, suburban neighborhoods. They don't have the police presence that low-income, high-crime neighborhoods do. They don't. Well, the reason that is because people like me that live in those kind of neighborhoods wouldn't put up with it, right? If we see someone do crime, we call the police. Remember that time I saw the kid steal the kid's bicycle across the street? I called the police. They got there and they got the kid. We don't tolerate it. In these high-crime areas, there's not just more criminals living around there, but the communities have been brainwashed to be against the police and pro-criminal. Okay, and then she goes on.
What they do have, they have well-funded schools. What they do have is home ownership, high home ownership rates. What they do have are thriving small businesses. What they do have is access to public health and mental health services. So this whole movement is about rightly saying, we need to take a look at these budgets and figure out whether it reflects the right priorities.
The right priorities. Defund the police. Now, that was a popular thing a couple years ago. It's not as popular as it is now because in a lot of these neighborhoods there's been a major increase in crime by illegals that they brought in. You may have seen some of the people in New York over the weekend protesting, well, don't vote for AOC, okay? Don't vote for Adams, and you won't have these things. But they did, and they got it. That defund the police, all these clips of her circulating all over. They may not show them on television, who cares? Because the television news is made itself irrelevant, like newspapers have made themselves irrelevant. It's flooding the internet. And people are like, what? Who supports defunding the police in 2024? We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour, take some more calls, and we got a lot more to talk about, too. Don't go anywhere.
Nikki.
He really is as bad as what they've been saying. I think if he steps down as president and she steps into the presidency before the end of his term, it almost makes me question a little bit more why it didn't happen sooner. She's worked with him. She's been, to my understanding,
protection
Hmm.
Give Debbie a call right now and go over the options. 954-753-8080. Debbie can help you with all your
All right, coming back.
80 and online, iwilladvisors.com.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years.
All right, we are back 34 minutes after the hour. It is Monday, July 29th already. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Harlem.
Oh, hey, Renee.
You racists have quite. You're up to your old tricks now.
Really?
Yeah, Kamala. Say her name right. Like you say Pamela, her name is Kamala.
Yeah, Kamala.
And replace it with a K, Kamala.
Okay, Kamala. Okay.
You racist.
Kamala.
It's Kamala, you idiot. Practice. Read. Now, the bottom line is, she's done a lot more than you guys have ever done.
Oh, okay. Like what, for example?
She is the first woman to be nominated for president in this country.
No, she's not. She's not been nominated yet.
Okay, well, granted.
So nothing. So what else? What else is other than have a vagina and be brown? What has she done?
Well, she's done a lot more than Trump.
Really? As an example, what has she done more than Trump?
She hasn't gotten herself indicted.
Excuse me. Slow down. Donald Trump is not a convicted felon. The Supreme Court tossed all that out. And no, the Supreme Court said he has presidential immunity. Okay? And he was not convicted in any court of rape. That's a fantasy you have.
Oh, so you're gonna let the white boy get out of jail free because he's president?
No, you had a corrupt judge whose daughter took $100 million from Democrats, who was selling seats to the courtroom, Judge Goran, and the Supreme Court ruled in favor of presidential immunity. So that's over.
It's corrupt.
Yes, we talked about this through the whole trial. No, not at all.
Trump is not corrupt.
No.
Really?
No.
What planet do you live on? But
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what has Kamala Harris done, going back from her time in California till today, that is something positive?
Game. Don't play that game.
Well, no.
On a fit.
No, he has. Excuse me. He's done a lot. I could go, but we're celebrating Kamala today. We're talking about Kamala. I can go through a long list of things Trump has done. He gave us the largest tax cut in history. He's responsible for the largest employment of African Americans in the history of employment statistics. Absolutely. He made the United States the number one producer of oil for the first time since the 1950s. There's many things he did. What is one thing in any office that she has held that Kamala Harris has done that you can point to?
You know what? I'm not going to play that.
What? Because you can't. Because the answer is nothing.
Have to.
No, because you can't. You can't.
I'm going to beat your butt anyway.
Then why are you so angry?
I'm not angry.
Then why are you yelling and calling me names? Listen, the only racist here is you, the man with the girl's name, Renee. And this is going to be, this is an interesting thing here, okay? Because when I played that interview, those street interviews that Benny Johnson did with young black people, they didn't even know who Kamala was. They found one guy out of 5 who knew who she was and was going to support her. The others didn't. And it goes on for about 10 minutes of similar things, okay? The number of people that are like Renee and Joy Reid, okay, are a small minority inside the minority community. And this is something they're going to find out about not too far from now. 99 days, in fact. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yes, you're on the air.
Hi, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Lily?
Yes.
Lily, I don't know if you
recall I called early in the year.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about trying to hurt Trump. I mean, I don't know what the topic is.
You wanted to help Trump?
No, I talked about back then that they were going to try to hurt Trump.
Oh, well, you were right. They shot President Trump was shot by a Democrat donor. You're almost like a psychic. You predicted something that sadly came true.
I know that very well. I'm Cuban, and we talked about it.
Oh, yes.
I'm not calling to I just want to say that the shooter did not work alone. That's offensive.
No doubt.
And they're going to continue trying.
Well, let's hope not. You know, President Trump over the weekend was saying good things about the lady Secret Service agents. I mean, what's he supposed to say? These people are in charge of protecting him and his family. You know, I mean, if
anything, Brett.
Well, if you look,
These things prevent him from this country.
Well, but Donald Trump has something the Democrats don't have behind him, and that's God. And that's why he was able to dodge the bullet.
He has no ethics, nothing.
Well, that is true.
They're going to try and.
All right, okay. We don't have to keep predicting it. Let's just hope you're wrong this time. All right, appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian, how are you today?
All right.
The thing about Kamala, my questions are really pretty basic. She strikes me as an empty suit. She's not a polished politician. She's not really. Her likability quotient is not really that high to make up for the prior two.
I mean, look at the turnover in her office. Over 94. Think about this. Over 94% of the people who worked for Kamala Harris quit, and many of them have gone on to give interviews who said that she's a bully boss. And these are black people who are leaving the first black vice president, female. Many of them female. She has to be pretty bad for them to walk away from a job like that.
Well, if you look at it, you could say she was a failure as a district attorney. She's a failure as a vice president. She's a failure as a candidate for president. And she just, I think they're going to be in the panic come August when they go to their convention because she doesn't have it.
Well, listen, there's no party unity. Barack Obama did not want her to be the nominee. She's still not the nominee, and I'll tell you something. Between now and the convention, she could screw up enough where she ends up not being the nominee. It is entirely possible.
I think that's a likely scenario, Brian.
I don't know about likely, but it's still a possibility.
Do you see anything, a saving point about her at all? But to be honest, it's very difficult to even watch her in an interview. Sometimes there are people running for office that you don't support, but you can find one redeeming thing about them. I don't have one with her. Not one. No. Prior career in any phase, there was nothing there.
That's right. All right, now listen, I gotta run, but I appreciate the call. And those of you on hold, stand by. Before we break, the free doorbell camera offer from Sloman's is back. And I've had this doorbell camera for years. It's not just a great addition to your home security system. It's a great, convenient thing to have. I mean, how many of you order DoorDash, Instacart, right? How many times do you have Amazon coming to your house? You get a notification on your phone every time there's movement at your door. And it's a great convenience. You never have to open the door. You always know who is there, no matter where you are. And this offer, it's back, but for a limited time, all right? Keep in mind, it's for a limited time. So Sloman's are going to give you a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. They're also going to give you a free customized home security system as well as professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery, plus a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. But again, this is just for a limited time. Give them a call. Here's the number. No matter where you are, give them a call. 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050. We'll be right back. All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the first look at gold and the precious metals for the week. William Youngerman, how are the metals starting the week off?
Metals are starting on the upside as they closed out the week on the upside. Also, after touching a low of 23.50, our main support area for gold last week, they recovered, closing out the week at $2,386.10, which was up $22.70 on Friday. Silver was up 8 cents on the close of Friday, $27.90 the ounce. Platinum gained $4 at $9.38, and palladium was down $5 at $8.86. Overnight, we saw gold trading in a range of $2,385 all the way up to $2,403. Right now, we're at $2,392 the ounce. That's up $5.90. Silver's up 5 cents at $27.95 the ounce, while platinum is gaining $7 right now at $9.45. And palladium is up $9 at $895. So far we're starting to the upside and looking to recover from our pullback that we saw last week and giving us a great buying opportunity last week. Continue to nibble at these metals at these nice low prices.
Absolutely. And remember, with William Youngerman, all the metals are available for immediate delivery, and William Youngerman will buy back any of the metals that you purchase from him, which is really amazing because, you know, you're investing in the metals for some reason, and some reason that day may arrive, and you want to sell some of them, you can sell them back to William Youngerman. He opens up at 10 a.m. Give him a call, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, right across from the bank lobby. And online, you can find both his phone number and his address, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, we're starting off the week good, and we'll talk tomorrow, William Youngerman.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, back after this.
Social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is...
All right, and I think Renee from Harlem is the first pro-Kamala call we've gotten since she was the pick, since Biden stepped down, and he said she's the first person that is brown with a vagina, and that's her qualifications. I don't know, that seems a bit strange and maybe even sexist and racist. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Jason Jones.
Oh, okay. We're going to get a second endorsement from Kamala? Oh. Also, perhaps you can tell us what she's accomplished.
Let me start off. Well, you already announced all the things she's done in her life. I don't need...
Yeah, but those are all negatives. You don't have any positives?
No, those jobs are big. She went to college.
She went to college?
And she's a vice president of the United States. Accomplishments speak for her.
But what is one thing she's done? What is one thing she's done? Well, I'm hosting the show.
I know, but my question was, a few minutes ago, you and the nut that was just talking said...
Renee from Harlem?
No, the nut before me. Said was talking about how 94% of her office quit or something to that effect.
Correct.
Wow, that's weird because the exact same thing happened with Trump.
That's not true. No, that's not true. Not in that number. No, not in that number.
And they quit, they got fired, and they went to jail.
Mm-hmm.
That. What?
Well, there's hold on. Even though you've been rude and won't respond to me, I'm going to respond to you. Number one, I'll start in reverse. So far as the jailing, yes, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have misused the Justice Department and have prosecuted and persecuted innocent people who have worked for Trump. And right now, Steve Bannon's in prison as a political prisoner. I'll give you that, yes. People left and were fired by Trump, as in every administration. But in Kamala Harris's office, There's never been an exodus of people leaving on their own at the level of 94%. And every single, no, not 94%. Not 94%. No, not even close to it. Not even close to it.
He's not coming back.
So now that I answered your question, tell me one positive thing Kamala Harris, tell me, I went through all the polls earlier in the show, tell me one positive accomplishment of Kamala Harris's in any of the offices she's held.
She's president, I believe.
Yeah, but what has she done as vice president? No. If you're not going to answer, I answer your question, even though it's not open phones, and you won't give me the respect of answering my question, I'm not going to turn the show over to you. It's not going to happen. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Arkansas.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, I can name some.
Keep it PG. PG. This is a family program.
I know, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking. She got herself appointed border czar. She supported her boss. Told it how great he was, and smart and energetic and all that.
Yeah. No, we're looking for positive accomplishments.
Well, that's positive, depending on which side you're looking at it from.
Well, you know, if I'm a rapist murderer in Venezuela, she's done great for me, right? She's erased the U.S. southern border and set me up with a new identity and paying for my housing, food, gave me an Obama phone, and I'm retired in America now, even though I was a convicted rapist and murderer in Venezuela. So yes, yeah. From that viewpoint, she's done positive things.
You're right. I just wanted to put my 2 cents.
Well, that's good. No, that's good. You offered something. I'll give you that. All right, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, it's JJ.
Hey, JJ, I tell you, our liberal callers are unhinged.
I've heard a lot about nuts. I'm going to talk about an apple in just a second, but the Iranians love Kamala because they get to fly into Venezuela, wash their passports, and then come up through the southern border.
Yes.
And to just chant "Death to America," like they're singing a Christmas song. But as far as apples go, Kamala, whatever, Marmalade, Marmalade, whatever the hell we want to call her. I mean, her parents. I mean, you want to get to know somebody, you got to know the parent. Get to know the parents, who the parents were around, what the sisters are like, the brothers are like, and this and that. Okay, and her parents were devout. They were Marxists, all right. And as far as the commie red apple, Kamala, she didn't fall too far at all from the tree.
No doubt.
The Afro-American Association, okay, with Don Warden, a.k.a. Khalid al-Mansour, who was connected closely with the Saudis, who helped pay this guy, Don Warden, Khalid al-Mansour, same name, same person, paid for Obama's Harvard Law education. Something to do with Scalia, I can't remember, and Bin Talib, something like that. But he also worked, Khalid, with Willie Brown. We've heard that name. So, I mean, listen, and her sister, by the way, Maya Harris, she's married to Tony West. If that rings a bell, it should, because that's the deputy, or maybe it shouldn't really. It's kind of, but he is the, or he was, Tony West was the Deputy Attorney General to Eric Holder. Imagine that.
Kamala Harris's sister is married to the Deputy Attorney General to Eric Holder. I did not know that. I wonder what happened to her.
Well, listen,
the sister. You don't hear too much about her sister.
These people, they're all like, and Steve Phillips also. Don Khalid al-Mansour worked with Steve Phillips, who's basically a pro-Chinese Maoist. He was part of the...
there's something very fishy about the mother's move to this university in Montreal. And we really haven't had anybody look into that yet. But, you aren't you the person that called up about the Drew Barrymore Pamela thing?
Yes, I talked about Pamela.
Somebody brought that up to me last week. That it was on. I pulled up Drew Barrymore talking about this. I wanted to play it. This is Drew Barrymore. She has Kamala Harris on her program.
In my head that we all need a mom
I've been thinking that we really all need a tremendous hug in the world right now.
Yeah.
But in our country, we need you to be Mamala of the country.
Yes, Mamala Kamala. I love it. Yes. Oh my gosh, Drew Barrymore. She's really damaged.
When you practice, or when you're a commie plebe, and she's graduated. I mean, she.
Well, if she's everyone's Mamala, I guess she's not a childless cat lady. All right, appreciate the call. I got to run. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas. Jupiter Joe Thomas, he's amazing. You know, he's has 30 years of experience in the retirement planning industry. He's a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by less than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. It's amazing. He's a top guy in the industry, and he's offering you both free copies of his book and free phone consultations, which is amazing. You got a top guy here, and he's offering free phone consultations. Now, no matter where you are in America, you don't have to be in South Florida, but you can be. But you can be anywhere in America. You could take advantage of both the free book offer and the free phone consultation. Here's his number, 561-743-0999. Give him a call. Talk about your retirement. Even if you're already retired, talk to him. Talk to him about annuities. You know, with annuities, your money is safe from the ups and downs of the stock market. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about losing money in the stock market. Your money is safe. It's secure. You will not lose money, and you can even generate a revenue stream from your annuity when you're retired. 561-743-0999, 561-743-0999. And online, JupiterJoe.com. All right? You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Arturo from Boca.
Yes, Boca. What's up?
Yeah, I don't know if you know, DLL Piper is the largest USA, and James Comey's brother worked for the firm in the D.C.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes to show you how DL Piper, much of this group is entrenched and lose their power in Washington.
It's what they are, what the permanent Washington class are, which is a large web. They view themselves as a nobility, and the rest of us in the country are just peasants. And Donald Trump represents the peasants, and they're not going to let the peasants have control. That's how they view it. And you know, and they don't think there's anything wrong with that. They don't think they're evil. They think that they know better than we do.
Said it best many times when you've said in our lifetime, Donald Trump has been the only president that has been elected outside of the system.
Maybe ever.
Maybe ever. But that's why, you know, Kamala Harris, James Comey, D.L. Piper, I mean, this is not a coincidence. These guys are entrenched in Washington. They do not want to...
You know, it's hard. You know, when I was in college and I was studying British history, it was so hard to trace the royal families because when they become king or queen, they change their names and all this stuff, and it was always hard for me. Same thing in Washington. This permanent Washington nobility class... it's so incestuous with the marriages. Everybody has different last names, even though they're brothers and brother-in-laws, and you know what I mean. It's hard, but everyone is connected. They're all connected. It's really sick and scary.
Some of the VP nominees for Kamala Harris were Pete Buttigieg. The Kennedys have been grooming this kid from high school.
That's right, and the Carolyn Kennedy and Ted Kennedy plucked him out of high school, gave him an award. And if you follow Buttigieg's life, they kept, other than being gay, they kept it as close to President Kennedy as possible, just like when they groomed John Kerry. A lieutenant in the Navy, right? All this stuff. Went to school, went to the fancy schools and everything else. And Buttigieg is a Kennedy. Very few people know that.
And unfortunately, even our own state governor, I mean, this guy
he's done.
He was a huge disappointment to what he did to Trump. So disloyal.
Yeah, I know. We'll never trust. I'll never trust Ron DeSantis again, ever. And go ahead.
And I don't trust another Trumpers. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard might be talking a good game now, but I would never trust her.
Listen, Tulsi Gabbard can do us a lot of good because she hates Kamala, and she does a good job exposing Kamala. But you don't want her to be Secretary of anything under Trump because that's a launching pad for that socialist drug legalizer and climate change disciple to become president. Tulsi Gabbard's a Trojan horse. I've been saying it for a long time. You can't trust her.
Yeah, I think the best thing that Trump could do is watch how she debated Kamala and destroyed her, because that, the way to go out.
But Tulsi Gabbard, though, she's spot on with Kamala, and a lot of people listen to her. So she's useful to us in the campaign, but that's where it ends in 99 days. Her usefulness.
All
right. Take care, man. We are out of time for today, and we'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. And oh boy, I didn't even get to all my show prep today. We got more, but there'll be more breaking news today. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We are live weekday mornings from 6 until 9 a.m. right here on True Oldies. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
104.3 HD3.
All right, guys. If you're new, subscribe. And everybody else, all right? I'll see you later.